be a cheeky bit of capital action coming through from Endpoint. And I do not feel, I do not feel surprised by that. At the same time, again, another map with pivotal choke points. Will they play those choke points well? Will we see them, center? I mean, well, already, I guess there's no capital, but there is the IQ you were talking about.
I said Panda, not Lure. What are you doing? Endpoint. Panda playing on the zombie. You've got the IQ being brought out by Lure. Is that going to be a 6-pick? Yeah, it is. Do you want to know why that is? Because people expect Panda to play on the IQ. Love that. That's actually pretty nice. I like that. It's kind of cute. Anyway, Bar Gaming Room is going to be the first bomb site here being brought out. I like this. Very smart, recognizing this is one of the stronger bomb sites on this map, specifically Scalia. With the Frost, very smart pick. You've got 2 deployable shields. You're likely to expect it being placed upstairs. One on top of the library stairs, and then a second one on top of that main fireplace hallway. It's going to allow the defenders of Spice Girls a lot of versatility in defending this upper bomb site. Now, a lot of people might be wondering, well, why bring the alibi? And there's a reason for that. You've got the deployable shield, you've got a solid gun, you've also got these prismas that can provide a little bit of information. I think overall what Histia has here is a very strong, powerful little package there, and a valuable offer.
Heading out to defuse a bomb.
Certainly, and again, I'm a little bit fond, shall I say, of the alibi, especially as of Roma. I think it's very useful. You waste a bit of time, you keep a decoy in pocket, and people try and hunt you out. They see the head of the decoy, you get the live ping, you swing them, job's a good one. Again, secondary bailiff as well, good for making rotations, etc, etc. And we're going to have some lines of sight up top, as expected, to prepare for this push into the top floor. Again, nice bit of extension from Spice Girls. I do like the extended hold here. I think it's absolutely vital and pivotal because they're not going to be attacking it directly at all. And there we go, Panda starting this off with a nice little shot onto Histia, but is immediately traded out, Fraser.
Yep. So, I mean, Mia could potentially pick up that kill. Confirmation there, Sajai playing out on the window. Panda should potentially actually get picked up by Barbara, I believe that. Yep, will get picked up. Shanice with the C4 underneath, or Shanacy. Was it Shanacy? Apologies. My memory is terrible. Shanice. Thank you very much. Again, my memory is absolutely terrible. So Skyly actually in a really good position here. Doesn't look like Shanice was actually drawn out there. I'm interested to see if anyone will try and apply any pressure through that fluke window. Because if they do, Scalia should be able to land a kill onto them, potentially in Lua. There's, again, we're seeing some pressure being applied in through Piano right now. This is a really powerful hold being established by Spice Girls.
Yeah, certainly. And again, look at this utility use coming through from Endpoint. You can tell these ladies have played together for, a good while, and they know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly how to play together. We're definitely probably going to get some really nice teamwork plays, hopefully, in this map and the next one as well. I don't know, this is very exciting stuff. One thing I will say, I thought Barbara had actually left Endpoint, so it's nice to see her back there.
I think she was always the substitute player. I honestly don't know. I have to admit, I haven't really been keeping too much track of all the different players going in and out. As the Gemini Replicator is going to burn out that Rooney Gate, that's good to see. Mia's going to be taking a fair bit of pressure. Lou needs to be very careful. I'm hoping they have drawn out that fluke window. Mia is going to shut down Barbara. Lovely kill onto the buck. Jazz going to push on straight on through, going in towards the little kill box area, looking for the kill to Rooney. Can't quite connect it. Mia with a double. Scarlet picks up another. And a 1v3 situation. Izzy in a world of hurt right now as well. She's got full HP. She's got that Type 89. It's the first kill onto Mia. 2 players left behind with 15 seconds left available here. Pick up a kill. Need to make this one happen. Looking for it. Couldn't quite connect it because of timing.
And there we are. They're going to have a little bit of a chat there, aren't they?
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
I mean, looking at it right now, could potentially get on in here. Now, let's get into the bomb site. However, couldn't quite get the plant down. No.
That is a shame. That is a shame. But no, really well played there by Spice Girls. Very, very patient setup. And again, just allowing Endpoint to come to them and just not really over-peaking or being too silly with it. We are going to see... I wonder if that mirror's going to stick, though. This is a thing. Mirror is on the table, and I think there are certainly places that she can be beneficial. And we are going to bedroom, and certainly, you know, especially on that closet hold that some people do. It's quite nice to have a mirror there. So that would be curious to see. Yeah. I kind of feel like hopefully again we'll see some really nice lines of sight, especially towards the library area. From the actual site itself, I think it's nice to see people be a bit aggressive with that as opposed to just simply reinforcing it. But we will see what they will be planning now as this prep phase gets underway.
I think the operator I'm more interested in right now for Spice Girls has to be the Valkyrie. And there's actually a reason for that. We have seen quite a fair few teams banning out the Valkyrie due to the power of these cameras providing information. With some of these rooms that are quite big, you've got these hallways that are quite long, a lot of information can be gained through them. Now, if she's playing it correctly and if she's playing it efficiently here, that can be pivotal in changing the flow of the game. So I'm really looking over towards the Valk as really being the difference maker in this lineup.
To locate a bomb and defuse it.
Yeah, you know, already we are seeing some really nice mirror placements. This is exactly what I meant about the mirror being brought to the table. Certainly if she's on the board, bring her and utilize her. And again, I wanted to see those aggressive lines of sight, and we're seeing it, and mirror makes that so much easier. So much easier. It gives you a bit of a safety window to hide behind, and allows you to kind of just line up your shot more than anything. You can see why she is the most banned operator in most seasons of most tournaments, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, what we're seeing right now, window play coming out by Endpoint. I like this. You're applying some pressure. It's going to force the girls, and Spice Girls, to go around it. Panda's going to shoot down Shanice. Lovely little kill there. C4 gone off the board. Panda, so got both lifelines available here. As Mia's going to rotate out and away. Scala using that shotgun from below, or opening up the floor from below. Yeah.
I like this as a counter to that, though. I like the fact that it's like, okay, yeah, you've got this little box that you're going to try and sit in it, but we're just going to open up the floor and give you hell. Keep you on your toes.
Yeah, I mean, Lure getting a kill onto Pandy there. Mia has been down, so potentially picked them back up. So I'm interested to see how this will play here. As Scalia is going to shut down Sanjaya. Looking over towards this right now. One player gone for the side of Endpoint. Second player's going to fall there. He's here. He's going to die to Lure. Trying to get the play from underneath. Barbara finally falls to Scalia. This back take is in full effect right now. The Zophier's going to do a lot of damage. Panda finally takes him down. Sanjaya with the confirmed kill onto Mia. Yeah.
Clean attack coming through from Endpoint there. Made it look very, very smooth. Again, I love the fact that they went for the vert play there. I think that's a really good call to make, especially, again, you know, you've got the mirror on the table, you've got those kind of areas where people are going to be holding, and you know they're going to be holding. It just kind of shows the map knowledge coming through from Endpoint there as well. I know Chalet's been a relatively recent map for a lot of people, but some teams are still struggling with it.
Yeah. And I mean, what I liked right there was the verticality that was being applied by Barbara from below, but you also had Lure out in the window. Skylayer bringing out the Mary yet again. Fair enough. Let's see how this will play out.
Your bombs from being defused by
I think, looking at the versatility of Spice Girls with the operators that they could potentially bring out here, I do like the fact that they are consistently trying to make the mirror work. In addition to that, you swapped out the Valkyrie for the Melusi, fair enough. Let's see whether or not that's going to make a bit more of an impact here.
I mean, potential.
No.
I don't know if it will. I don't know. It's interesting because it's like
10 seconds left before
one thing that may be beneficial is if they have an extended room, but a duo room underneath right now. Kind of like a backwards version of how they were holding the the first round, but back upside down, I guess is upside down question mark.
Yeah, it's kind of like Batman, really.
Yeah, it does have someone kind of waltz around dining with a duo, and you know, obviously having that someone for the refrag, you can probably catch them a little bit off guard. Certainly it is a bit risky biscuits, but we're only on round 3, so I'd try it.
Yeah. So Panda playing the Zofia yet again. I'm interested to see whether or not they're going to attempt to go for that top floor roam clearance, if they're going to try and start applying pressure directly upstairs, or if they're going to start pushing from underneath. There's holes in the floor there. Panda needs to be a little bit careful, but she sneaks her way on by. Looking in for a potential vertical plane above inside of Solar. Shanice potentially denies some pressure here. Pandy shuts down Sanjaya. Again, the first player to fall here for Endpoint. That means those frag grenades not going to be used as potential verticality, and well, also that going 6 off the board.
Shini's rightly so on the tiniest bit of health is going to rotate back and hide safely behind that mirror window. Okay, yeah, so this is fair enough. They've pushed them back to site a little bit. This now allows for Endpoint to gain more map control before they set up around the site. Again, half the round gone, so we do have loads of time to play with.
I mean, look at this right now. You've got the buck underneath. You've got the flank watch from Panda to make sure that nobody rotates across. The mirror window does get popped as well. And look at this. It's just going to completely dislodge some of these players from underneath. Looking for the kill. Not quite connected just yet. Mirror finally falls, but Mia also downed. Lua picks up another. It's going to be Mia dead. He takes a fair bit of damage, as does Barbara. But for now, they've got that pressure being applied on the backside here. Andy is going to get shut down from Panda. And, well, you can only have one pan. And, yeah, I don't really know. I'm going from there.
Panda versus Panda.
Yeah. Well.
Like spy versus spy.
Yeah. Exactly like that, actually, yeah. So Skylar, then out in the window. Trying to deny some pressure being applied there. Izzy is going to be going in for the attempted plant here. He's still can't quite connect a player just yet. Looking for any potential opportunity or avenue of approach here. He's going to get one onto Barbara. That's a good kill, but a 3v2 will ensue. One player outside. The player prone will get taken down. Looking for the next one. Opportunities still arising here. The side of Endpoint. Zizzy, shut down Histia. Last player standing is going to be Skylar. Rotates across, is going to get shut down from Lure outside. And a lovely post plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very solid. Very, very solid there from Endpoint. Again, this is their map pick, and you can kind of see why they've chosen to go here at this point.
Yeah.
It's very comfortable for them. They're making it look very, very comfortable. And again, I love that they're absolutely going ham with the verticality. 100%. I think a lot of people overlook the potential for that on this map. You know, especially in other tournaments that, you know, we work with. It's very overlooked, and I love the fact that A, they've chosen to go here, and B, they're playing it like they live in that house and they know all its nooks and crannies. And that's what you want to see. That's what you want to see, Fraser. This is a well-rehearsed map for them.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, right now, what we're seeing is a fair bit of cobbing going in from both of these two teams. Yeah, you know, sometimes you got to get your cob out.
Cob's out. Are we really going to bring up Snubster?
Yeah, we are. Why not?
CCSW.
Lovely chap.
Get your cobs out.
Get your cobs out.
Get your cobs out.
All
No,
right,
indeed.
Look, all right, if we can get hashtag dick by Delta, we can get your cobs out.
We can... You're gonna summon them, Fraser. You'll summon them.
Summon what? Summon the cob.
The cobs. They're all gonna come.
I haven't seen it.
All the cobs. All the cobs.
I don't know what you're talking about. Well, on that wonderful note, let's talk a little bit more about this bomb site. Snowmobile Garage. Also known as Snowmobile Garage and Wine Cellar. We've got this little spread of players out here. Pandy playing over in Big Garage, trying dislodge some of the attempted resistance that you may expect coming in from that side of the bomb site. You generally will expect that a fair bit of pressure will be applied on towards the trench, and you also have a sledge playing up inside a fireplace right there. Again, it really comes down to how Endpoint chooses to attack this. Are they going to go for a lateral take coming in from the northern end, or applying themselves vertically as well, trying to apply pressure?
Yeah, this is the thing. They know of the extended room, the extended hall. They know that there's players up on that top floor. So I was curious to see whether they'd be like, okay, yeah, we will clear it, or whether they'd just be like, okay, there's minimal people on point. Do we just rush site, take site really quickly? With basement, it's very difficult to do unless you are pushing from kind of blue area, but like blue trench area. But I think they're playing it safe here. and they're playing it patient by trying to do the full roam clear.
Yeah. And I think we're just going to have to wait and see about that one for now. As I mean, Panda making her way downtown, walking fast. And I can't remember the rest of the song.
Faces pass and I'm homebound.
Yeah, that one! Love that song. Is that an ABBA one? I'll take that answer as a no.
Sorry, what? I didn't hear what you said. I thought you said something about apples.
No, I was asking if that was an ABBA song.
No, it wasn't. It was Nelly. No, it wasn't Nelly Furtado. Vanessa someone.
Hudgens?
No, I don't.
Oh. Anyway.
Yeah, no. It's
Anyway,
Vanessa.
let's carry on for this one here. You see Skylar playing inside of the connector room for now. Lua just taking out a goo mine. It looks like we are applying a fair amount of pressure on the northern end of the map. Spice Girls with full players left available here. They're going to have opportunities to really kind of slow this down and make it as untenable to push as possible. Wonder whether or not they have drawn that back garage. Yeah, it does feel like they have. Yeah, Pandy has been drawn down. They need to clear her out. Otherwise, she's going to sit there, do absolutely nothing. Panda shuts down Pandy. Good kill. 40 seconds taken away here. Needs to start clearing down some of these food jammers. Fly themselves in towards this wine cell bomb site.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Barbara's gonna get the kill onto the Hestia. For the second one here, Mia Skylar pick up 2 of their own 3v3 scoreline for now. That's Skylar. Rains fire from above. Now looking towards the 2v2 situation here. Mia falls, leaving it up to Panda to get the plant down. Barbara to try and cover it. And Shanice gonna have to try and deny this.
10
No
seconds
verticality.
left. Attackers are activating.
But he's playing there. Takes a lot of damage coming in from that wine cellar room. Looks towards potential rotate across in towards blue. As the players do rotate down in towards trench behind the northern wall for now. Shanice got opportunities to push this one across. The Claymore goes down. Knows the position of at least one player. Detonates the Surya gate. Looking above. Doesn't know where the players are just yet. Looking for the kill. Can't quite connect it there. Barbara shuts her down. At endpoint. Round number 4. In their favour.
You know, I really respect how patient Endpoint are with their post plant.
Yeah.
They just pull back completely. They just pull back and they hold the angle.
Love to see it.
You
love to see
really genuinely do.
Yeah. So, Winecell, or sorry, correction, not Winecell, Bar Gaming. What's your thoughts on this bomb site?
I mean, I like it. I've seen people hold it in the most disgusting way possible to the point where people are forced to try and attack that, window site. Which you do, you just see that happen a lot. That's the main thing about this site, is what I've noticed. Every single time I end up casting it, that always happens, always. So,
Defenders, protect your bombs.
will
from
this
being
be
defused by attackers.
another case of this? But oh wait, no, yeah. See that double window there. We did see this happen actually, the round 1 or 2 where we were last here, where Izzy had to jump in and try and plant, but ran out of time ultimately. And it's again. That happens every single time I see the site get played. And I think their setup here was really good as well. I really do. I liked the lines of sight that they were making. I liked the use of shields that they had. Can't really fault it really, to be honest.
5 seconds to insertion.
But at the same time, I think Endpoint,
Attackers
they are 3 rounds to 1, Fraser, and this is their map pick, and I think that they are, I would say beyond confident, but I would say that they are confident here, and they are making it look simple.
I mean, my expectation here would be that Spice Girls will have scrimmed this map at some point, I would presume. Judging by the setups that they're bringing out and the confidence that they have in executing it. And I think that is really good to see. So
Yeah.
I'm looking over towards what they try to do, especially an attack. That should be relatively interesting there. Sanjaya is going to shut down Mia. First kill of the round going in her favour for now. There's a player inside gold for now, so Pandy needs to be careful where she steps here. Making a fair bit of noise here. Going to challenge out the Yana. A grenade being prepped out here. Is going to get protected by the ADS. Second one potential. Yep, second one is being prepped. Handy needs to be careful here. It's going to rotate out. Just a little bit of damage. It's the second grenade gone.
Loading mag.
So what's your take on this this attack so far, Chris?
It's again this idea that they're being very patient with it. I think that what I will say is that they're being a lot more direct than last time. I think before they kind of just focused a lot on, you know, clearing the upstairs. This time it seems way more direct, and I don't know if that's going to be to their benefit or not just yet.
Attackers have dropped the bomb.
Because it could be that if they go too direct, they try and rush the objective too quickly, they'll just get shut down from above.
So lower plane. It's out of library for now.
Attackers recovered
Just gonna be
the
able to get a kill into Pandy. That's really nice.
Yeah, we do love those SMG-11 kills. It's a 4v3 situation. There's still a lot that Spice Girls can do to hold this, and you know, I think they can be patient and they can pull back, just as we've seen Endpoint do in that post plan. There we go. Histia is going to take down Panda. It's now evened it out to a 3v3 situation. And there's still, actually, no, there's not C4s in pocket. They have no C4s in pocket. This vertical play is also going to come out now. Oh, someone has actually rotated upstairs. It was Lua. Barbara's going to take down Histia as well. It's a 3v2. All Skylar and Shanice have to do is play time. There's 20 seconds on the clock, but Izzy is going to take down Shanice. It's all left down to Skylar on the frost. She takes down one. Can she find the other two? Only time can tell. She's going to peek for the heads of them, and ultimately Lua's going to shut it down. This is exactly what I mean about them just holding the angles. Look at this. Lewis is like, yeah, come then.
I mean,
Like, why?
What?
It's like, all right then, come. Like, okay. The plan wasn't even being taken. She just held the angle. She was like, okay,
yeah, she's just having a nice time.
come at you, come at me,
Come at me, bro.
have at it, have at ye.
Bro.
I think Endpoint are being very patient with this. And there are times where one might think, perhaps, oh, they're running out of time. They're absolutely not. They seem to be playing into the time really, really well, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting to see that I think, especially in certain situations, Endpoint so far have had a lot more patience with just kind of
Attackers
holding
need to
back and
locate
holding
and defuse
angles.
bombs.
What might have been better there for Skylar is if she actually just kind of held back a little bit and tried to wait for them to go for the plan, rely on audio, rely on intel, work out where they're doing that from.
Have you ever watched Les Miserables?
Yes.
Okay, you know that song, Can You Hear the People Sing?
Yes.
Yeah, except it's, you know, instead of it being a song of, you know, blah blah blah, it's Cobb.
Can you hear the cob sing?
Can you hear the
10
people
seconds
sing
left before
a
insertion.
song of Cobb?
Oh my
And it's just Snubster. And
5
Twitch
seconds
chat.
to insertion.
On his own. Every now and then you might see, you know, say this as well on there, you know, because he's got nothing better to do right now.
Cob's out.
Cobbs out. Get your Cobbs out. Love
Get
it.
your cobs out.
Get
Absolutely.
your Cobbs out. Yeah.
But you know,
Don't forget to get your Cobbs checked out, by the way. You know, it's important.
it is important. It
It's
is
very
important,
important
indeed.
to get
no,
your
it is.
get your
It
Cobbs
is.
checked. By a
It's
dog.
it is important to get your cobs checked.
Mm-hmm.
But what's even more important is the patience Pandy now has to have waiting in this bathtub. I don't know if they'll
True.
be able to drone her out and spot her, because the drones, they
It's a big
make some
bathtub.
speedy work on the side of Endpoint, and indeed, yes, it
Maybe
is
they need a lifesaver in there. It's so big. You know, it's kind of like a, you know, like a swimming pool. You've got like a lifeguard.
Mm-hmm.
Except it's your girlfriend. Anyway, looking at this right there, Lua does take down Pandy, so that's a good opening kill. Looking over towards the second one is yet to come down, so no refrag just yet. Sledges upstairs, opening up some verticality to allow the rest of the attackers to funnel down into kitchen a little bit more effectively if they want to try and do that. Now, again, I would be expecting that we were going to go for that trench clearance. So good first kill. Let's start seeing them apply themselves through trench side, opening up some of the walls, potentially opening up in towards wine cell.
Most certainly. And this is what we need to see a little bit more, perhaps a little bit premature, and perhaps not the most safest of positions, but certainly having the patience and just holding the angle. One thing I am slightly, I wouldn't say concerned about, but there's obviously a lack of intel on the side of Spice Girls. And it's interesting because Valkyrie is on the board, and I know that some people just prefer the Mozzie because it's also, removing drones from the attackers, but I just think maybe the Valkyrie and a few hidden, evil eyes would really benefit them right now, especially when it comes to knowing where these pushes are coming from and where these attackers are approaching them from.
Yeah, I mean, we've got about 40 seconds to take it away here, and we are just going to see the timer ticking down. And honestly, right now, this is working in the favour of Endpoint. They feel confident going for these last kind of 20-second executions. Sanjaya's going to shut down East here. Unfortunately, we are going to have to disconnect. There's potential for Rebos after this one. Sanjaya will get downed from inside a blue. Fallout will be there. Panda's going to shut her down. 4v1 situation for now. Skyly, our last player, can't make it happen. And Panda is going to clean through the opposition.
And yeah, to be honest,
Yeah.
that entire attack from Endpoint, that they, again, you can tell why they've picked this map. You can tell that they've rehearsed this to the cows come home. You can tell that this is a map that they are very comfortable and confident on. And I did say they would, more than anything, be probably the more confident team just based on how they tend to mesh together and the personalities there. But again, just that is a significantly powerful attack. And this defense, it's going to be tricky now for Spice Girls, in my opinion, and I don't think that is too bold for me to say. It's going to be tricky for them to pull that back, and if they do, I'd be very surprised, but otherwise they have to put in some absolute work now on Consulate.
You know what I would love to do? Alright, so imagine like a player interview, but instead of it being a player, we just get Rob Walker in.
Yeah?
Alright, I don't know if our producer can hear us, and I don't know if he'd be interested in that. But can you just imagine how entertaining that would be? We just, like, every now and then, we just get, like, either him, Titangles, or Sunnab just come in. So, Rob, how you feel about that match? I don't know, I'm working.
Potentially.
I would love that. He could tell us about TikToks.
Potentially, that's
I would
what
love
we'll
that.
see. Again, one thing I really want to point out is just the patience coming through from Endpoint during that attack. Again, little things like it is just confusing how when the time is getting nearer and nearer to that end to that end point, to the end of the round, you don't really have to push the attackers. You can kind of wait for them to be forced in a position where time's run out and they have to stick the plant, and then you're in a 1v1 at that point essentially. Yeah. If you're fast enough, you're in a 1v1. You win that 1v1, either the other person comes off the plants or you take them down immediately. So it is interesting to see things like that. And I think, obviously, in the heat of the moment, it's really hard to determine how players are going to react to things. But I do think that Endpoint were holding things a lot stronger than Spice Girls then, in terms of, just being patient and waiting for the enemy to approach you and knowing when to do that.
Yeah, I generally agree. I mean, what I'm seeing so far in this matchup so far has been Spice Girls have got an understanding of what they want to do. The actual application of it, I think, was struggling a little bit. How much of that is down to their own personal experience compared to Endpoint's experience, I think is questionable. I think that's something that I would be interested to know how much they have played. Shally? Again, they've got good ideas. I like it, but I think that potentially they might just want to try and work on that a little bit more over the kind of coming couple of months. Again, like, it's... So we are going to go for a break, but first, before we do that, I'm just going to say one thing. I'm going to ask you a question for chat, okay? If you could have one dessert the rest of your life, what would it be? Okay, you're gonna answer that when we get back. We're gonna go for a break, probably for about 5-10 minutes, just whilst we sort out what is going on with one of the players, and we will be back relatively soon. Please don't go anywhere.
fro it floats in the light of the sky like a water lily, and fades on the blue flood of day. A star is adrift and free. When day comes, it floats into space, like a spirit amazed in a wider paradise. Paradise, paradise, paradise,
Apologies about that. We did have a slight technical pause. Again, competitive integrity is something that we take very seriously within CCS and CCSW as a whole. So we're just making sure that Histia had their computer all sorted out. They're all good, and we are going to continue on. Currently a 5-1 scoreline in favour of Endpoint. Spice Girls now on attack. And I think that's arguably something that I'm very keenly interested in, as I am also interested in this lovely grey screen of fucking nothing. It's great. Welcome back. Grace, let's talk about some of that insightful video game that we just witnessed there of nothing.
It was great.
I love that.
Ha ha ha.
You know what I love, alright? When we first started casting together, I could hear you muttering under your breath, "Oh boy," whenever I made bad puns. And now here you are, making your own.
Now here I am indeed. Look what you've done to me.
I feel like a proud parent right now.
Look what you've done to me. How dare.
You're welcome.
Actively.
Well, on the bright side, I guess you could
10
say we're
seconds
just
left.
adding some spice into this game before we get to the end point of tonight.
To go.
I physically cannot think.
Okay, we're coming back to us again because apparently the stream looks more fucked up than my face. And that's saying something.
Don't be neggy to yourself, man. No, I think
That's my job.
it's
Fresh.
interesting because obviously we are on a kind of situation where Spice Girls have so much work that they need to pull in now if they want to pull this map back. Do I think it will happen? No. But do I think that they'll give it their best shot?
Yes.
Yes. And if not, I'm assuming that the second map is going to be sweaty tryhard mode from them. Absolutely. So hopefully they'll put it back on console and we'll go to map number 3. But for now, it's 5-1. Endpoint have just gone to defense. It's going to be very difficult to pull this back, realistically. I hope they at least get like a round or 2 or 3 more in the bag, but only time will tell, Fraser. Only time will tell.
Yeah, I think my real expectation here would be... oh, again, very nice run out there. Unfortunately, it's going to get shut down by the air jab Mia. is going to get Barbara there. Very nice reaction coming down from the Nomad. Really like that. Sanjaya's going to take a lot of damage. I believe that might have actually been accidental there. It looks like it was a pre-fire going in through bathroom window. Pandy down below. So Mia's going to shut down Sanjaya. Again, Mia is absolutely on fire right now in this matchup.
But it's down to a 3v3 now, Fraser. And, oh, well, as I say that, History is actually going to snap back a little bit, taking down Panda. It's all left down to Lua and Izzy to try and hold the defense down. Again, though, they have one C4 in pocket. That could do some damage if they wanted it. That certainly could. Not really much utility on the side of attackers to use. It's going to have to be a gunfight situation unless they can try and get a little bit of a line of sight with that one Selma that's left, but I don't really think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, Lou's looking like she wants to try and charge across in towards this kitchen hallway for now. A lot of utility being burnt out here. A Claymore also being applied by Pandy there, potentially to catch anyone out here. Lou needs to be very careful with that. TCS 12 is going to get the kill onto the diffuser, but it does not matter. Spice Girls, Mia fishing on in, gets the refrag, recognizing the position of the last player. Shuts her down. Very nicely played.
Yeah, very nicely played indeed. Certainly having the, duo push through that doorway, even though Lua had the right idea, the sneaky hide around the corner strategy that we all know and love. Ultimately, yeah, taking down the ace, but then that just allows time for the second player to just swing out and take you down. So, that's off to a good start for Spice Girls on their attacking half.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at this right now. Again, this is really where I would be expecting to see Spice Girls starting to pull it back on attack, because generally similar to that, I've actually seen them feel more comfortable. And I think potentially that's because they get to control the momentum that they're putting into the game.
Yeah.
And I would be interested to know how they get on here, as Snowmobile, Garage, and One Cell will be brought out by ENDPOINT. Interesting choice. The smoke being brought out by Lua. You've got Panda on the mute, and then Barbara, Izzy, Sanjaya on Valkyrie, Rooney, and Jaeger, respectively. I think an operator I want to highlight for the side of Spice Girls is actually the Twitch. Here, Hestia playing on the Twitch, not usually an operator you see all too often, but when you need to consider there's a potential for a mira, but also other forms of utility such as bandit batteries, mute jammers, etc. I think the Twitch makes a fair bit of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And it'd be interesting to see, because I think last time towards the end of the round there wasn't really much of that Claymore utility utilized until that last push where they just put the Claymore down just in case, it felt more like. So it'd be interesting to see more of that get placed in more strategical planned positions.
Yeah. I mean, Pandy playing outside of the main breach for now. Again, the main reason you open this up is primarily to cut off any potential rotates in through Snowmobile Garage itself. Is he playing upstairs? It's already taking a substantial amount of damage, so her job is basically be expendable at this point. Waste time, waste utility, force the attackers to go in for that roll clearance, because you recognise with that low HP, you're not really going to make as much of a difference in the round as someone who might be full health. Shanice playing outside the main breach for now. Again, I want to see them starting to rotate some utility across towards that main trophy section, or correction, that main trench section. As it does appear with 1 minute 40 left, they've still got opportunities to start relocating. Again, that's exactly what Lua is doing, relocating some of the utility over towards northern side of the map. Pandy takes in Panda. First kill going down. Favourite Spice Girls. Is he fairly low HP? It's a good start for Spice.
Yeah, it certainly is.
A bomb has been located.
I mean, I feel like there's a lot of utility being used on this side of the sites. So it is interesting to see that Spice Girls are choosing to attack here when they've already got the breach open in Garage.
Yeah.
I do want to kind of know the thinking behind that. Maybe they thought they could give it the old razzle-dazzle and take them by surprise, but there's a lot of setup around here. There's positioning. There's tons of like absolutely mountains of utility, really. Most, most if not all of the series, I'm pretty sure are invested there.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess the main kind of point of contention here will be that kind of trench area. Barbara shuts down Hestia, looking for the potential second on the flank, is going to shut down Mia. Gets it down and then confirm a triple kill for the Valk so far. 2 gods left on the side of Spice Girls. It's going to be Pandy. She does have Carrier, she does have the Diffuser. She's got opportunities to start pushing around towards that front side again. As, it does feel like they kind of lost a little bit of steam towards the latter half of that round. We're going to be looking over towards the next Toxic Babe canister to get tossed out at some point. It's going to detonate here. We're going to have to jump in. Go for a kill. Figure out where these players are. There it goes. Toxic Babe canister right on the default plant spot behind the recycling button. Detonates. Forces the player out of there. Very nicely played.
Yeah, and that's going to bring us to match point, Fraser.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it right now, there are still opportunities for Spice Girls to push this back. But how far can they really push this? Do you know what I mean? We're looking at it, they need 4 more rounds in a row to push into overtime. Even then, that's going to be rough.
Absolutely. I think, you know, the best bet now would to be kind of like, okay, no, we need to push for the best of 3 now. We need to absolutely show up in this next map, our map pick. Obviously, I think the next map, Spice Girls, will be starting on attack there. On what can be a slightly complex map to attack. So I am curious to see how that plays out. But again, if it's anything how Endpoint played their map pick, if Spice Girls play their map pick to the same standard, I think we will end up going to map number 3. So it's not over till the fat lady sings, as they like to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, I don't really know who the fat lady would be in this analogy. Me?
I mean, I can put a few pillows up my shirt, maybe.
I don't think that's gonna cut it. But I appreciate the enthusiasm there. But yeah, so as we were talking about, this is only the first map in this best of 3. We do have a couple more maps, and I'm gonna ask Grace if you do know what the next map is going to be.
Consulate.
Thank you. I'm excited about that because I haven't seen Consulate in a wee while.
No, and this is why, again, it's really interesting because obviously Endpoint picking Chalet and then Spice Girls picking Consulate. That implies to me that these are going to be picked for a reason, especially at this point, certainly at this point, and certainly because they're maps that teams tend to avoid if they're being safe. And Barbara with the nuts runner! What is that? Picking up a nice little cheeky 2k to start this off, this match point round, Fraser. That was absolutely outrageous.
That is how to put somebody's mental in the mud. That is... I don't even know what to call that. Dirty. Let's go with dirty.
Hooliganism.
Hooliganism.
Straight
Jumping
up
out, running
hooliganism.
out. Oh, it's terrible. Next thing you know, they're going to be standing outside in Aldi's, shouting at old ladies.
Honestly.
At 11 AM on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday. On a miserable Tuesday morning.
Yeah, it seems like Spice Girls are now trying to meet up a bit. They're probably going to try and push together, which I think is a sensible option, especially when Endpoint are choosing... Well, they certainly started that off on an aggressive way. You know, they've got the rounds to do things like that. They're probably going to go for it. It's best to be a little bit patient and potentially push together. Get the intel out. Go for the refrags. Oh.
Don't worry, I was muted. Whilst I was coughing my lungs out right there, Lua shuts down Pandy with the C4. 2 players left standing right now. Spice Girls. Skylia looking for any potential avenue of this hack here. Can't quite connect it just yet. As the shield is going to protect the play on top of Fireplace. I'm interested to know where Mia is right now, because we see Skylia. I don't see where Mia is right now.
No, I think Mira's gone for a little bit of a cheeky rotate, perhaps towards piano, question mark, but again, I guess there is a point now where you have 40 seconds on the clock. You need to make the play. You need to think of something. Are you just handing over this map at this point?
Yeah. And again, Skyly are going to be the last player alive now. 5v1 situation. 30 seconds. This is the makings of an amazing clip. If this one works out. But for now, Skyly, she's got carrier. Had a couple of kills in the past. Time is just going to tick away.
15 seconds left.
15 seconds. Skylight's making a move. Finds the first kill, looking for the second one. Pushing on up through the staircase. Can't quite connect it. Gets the second onto Sanjaya. 3 players left. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to make this one happen. Push into the bomb side. That's going to be a good half side of Endpoint. You're going to be winning this one through.
Admirable attempt coming through, though. Admirable attempt indeed. I think that, you know, collecting 2 kills and then trying to go for the plant. That's all you can do, really. A significant scoreline for Endpoint, though. That was something else. Like, again, this was their map pick. So often it's hard to be surprised if someone wins their map pick. But that was such a dominant victory that it just feels very like, okay, they've certainly woken up and had their Weetabix, as we mentioned earlier. That's coming through very, very strongly. Again, it's just these moments of mental clarity that seem to come through where it's like, no, they're actually being patient and they are holding these angles, and kind of why are Spice Girls running to them in moments where they certainly do not need to. Again, both teams, though, they had really nice utility setups. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It just ultimately came down to positioning and timing and patience. And I am slightly worried about how that may impact Spice Girls going forward. Because again, if they don't start to, you know, hold their angles, this could be over very soon. But it is their map pick we're going to next, Fraser. So again, I am expecting them to certainly show up on it. It's just that Endpoint will be starting on defense. That is slightly concerning. They have the patience to just wait and hold the angles and waste the time. I can't predict how this is going to go at this point.
I don't know. I'm just here, I'm vibing, I'm just honestly... This is the thing, okay? At the end of the day, I'm just here to have a good time and see what they're capable of doing. I'm not going to have a guess at what these players are going to bring to the table because it's been so long since I've seen a consulate match that I don't even remember what it looks like. It's just a building that's, I think, yellow. And that's about it.
I mean, you know, the thing is with consulate is there's, once again, very specific ways to attack or defend it. There's... definitely specific choke points because the main ways to get to and from various points of the map are just for 2, well, or 3 main staircases. I mean, often you don't really see people push spiral too much. It's kind of a little bit ignored a lot of the time, just because of how open it can be at times. But for the most part, the attack's gonna be a little bit trickier. Again, really utilizing the utility burn here will be very beneficial. I will expect Flores to come. Shoot a little Flores up yellow stairs. See what happens. That's the easiest way to get rid of a majority of the default holds that a lot of people know. Am I expecting these ladies to be default with it? Who knows? I think they certainly will bring something new and spicy to the table. I'm just excited to get into it, to be honest, Fraser. But we are going to go to a quick little 5-minute break now, so do not go anywhere. Hold on to your seatbelts, fasten your boots. We will be back in 5 minutes.
welcome back to CCSW Season 2 Playday number 4. My name is Riz. I'm joined once again by the incredible Grace. We had a couple of technical difficulties, but welcome to broadcast in general. That basically always happens. We're just going to blame the Rob Walker for that one. If you'd like to direct any messages, I would highly advise that you do that via Twitter at the Rob Walker, or at the Third Walker, actually. Apologies. If you want to go send him a message, say, hey, you smell. TikTok sucks. I'd recommend that. We're going to be carrying on with our second map of Consulate relatively soon, I would hope. Grace, welcome back. How are you?
I'm good, yeah. Excited to get into this, to be honest. I am really curious about how this is going to go. Because that was a strong map coming through from Endpoint, but again, it was their pick, so... I mean, I really hope Spice Girls can, prove why they've picked this map and keep it in the race still. Obviously, again, tonight, if either team do lose, they are still going into the lower bracket, so it's not too bad. They can still fight their way through and then not immediately out of the competition.
Yep.
Obviously, some very lovely prizes for this competition as well, so they do want to keep trying to fight through to the end. I don't know how this is going to go. I really don't. I'm just kind of thinking, and I'm looking at my notes, and I'm like, ooh.
Let me give you a bit of advice. Don't look at your notes, because all of our notes, at the end of the day, mean absolutely nothing if the players don't turn up on the day. And that's what matters.
Valid point.
We're going to find that out right here, right now. Why did Spice Girls choose to play this map? We're going to find out. Consulate is going to be brought out by Spice Girls. We are going to have Endpoint, I believe, on attack first, I would imagine. I haven't been shouted at by the producer, so I'm going to assume that is correct. We are going to be kicking things off with the map and their Endpoint on defense first.
Yeah, this is what I'm slightly concerned about. And again, this is a roster that have played together significantly longer than the other one. And Consulate would be a map that is scrimmed to buggery by everyone for a long time now, and Endpoint certainly, not only have they scrimmed it to buggery, they've also scrimmed it to buggery together. That's where my concern is here. Of course, the Thatcher ban coming out immediately. Who's surprised? No one is surprised by that. No one at all.
I just want to highlight something real quick. Just to clarify for everyone that is watching right now, the name that is on the team in the top right hand corner is incorrect. It is not Spice Girls, it is Spice GRILS. Just to clarify that right there. In case anyone comes at me and says, hey, you fucking idiot, you're saying it wrong. No, it is actually Spice GRILS. To clarify that. It's not Spice Girls, Spice GRILS. Grace, carry on.
Okay. So Maverick being taken out as well, so that's both, support being taken away. I don't know if that's going to change things too much, bar that baby basement site. So that's going to be an interesting one. Valkyrie being taken off the board as well. That's some nice little intel off the board. Endpoint's final ban, please. A Kaid.
Ooh, okay. I like the Kaid ban.
Interesting.
I think the one that really stands out most for me there is the Valk. Again, it's constant. You generally expect that to be brought out. Nomad has not been banned out, so you expect that to be played. You're going to have a lot more difficulties when attempting to go for runouts, jump outs, etc. This map, the Kaid ban makes a fair bit of sense. You just, don't really want to deal with it. With the band of batteries, you can deal with them a lot more efficiently because they're a lot more limited with the places that you can stick them, i.e. on the floor, on the wall. So that generally a lot easier to try and deal with. Cafeteria Garage to be brought out. Mira could potentially be in play, but for now we're not to expect that. Personally, what I would be expecting, a couple players up on room, upstairs. The castle is an interesting one. Primarily going to be used to try and disrupt some of the lines of sight. I would like, personally, to see the Mute playing in the bathroom. Inside that second floor by lobby and press. However, more likely it'll be played inside of the bomb site proper.
Bomb located by attackers.
I will say one thing that I have found interesting is Endpoint banning out Kaid despite starting on defense, and I feel like it's interesting to me because if they were feeling super duper confident about this map, super duper confident, they probably would have left that on the board, utilized it in their defense, made it way more difficult for the Spice Girls. But we're not getting that.
Yep.
And we're not getting anything right now.
No,
we do
yeah,
apologize
we're
for the
not.
technical we do apologize for the technical flaw there. But no, it's interesting to see that. It's
Attackers are heading out to defuse the
again, this is interesting because they've got a map in the bag. They don't want to risk it going to third map. They want to win this 2-0, Fraser.
Yeah. And I mean, I can understand that. I mean, at the end of the day, you don't want to have to pull out a third map if you don't have to. And I think right now for Endpoint, that's really what they're going to be focusing on right now. Spice Girls, on the other hand, I like what they're doing so far. It looks like we are seeing that admin side
Attackers have
clearance
located a bomb.
first. We do see a fair amount of drones coming through. Pandy, Skylia, and Mia, Shanice, all on drones, providing some levels of information to try and figure out where these players are, what they're going to do, how they want to approach this.
And it's good to see the extended hold. To be honest, if there's going to be an extended hold, I do expect it on a map like this. As I say, very easy to know where they're going to come from, essentially. Breach has been opened, though. Pandy's going to start it off by getting the pick onto Panda. Panda versus Panda yet again. Little bit risky, though. She's going to get a little bit of a pre-fire influence when she takes out some of this utility.
Oh, Skylia still alive. Hestia able to take down as he doesn't realize that the player has been down. Skylia's now going in for the plant as well. Lua and Barbara are going to have to try and pull this one back on their lonesome here. Lua does get the kill onto Skylia. To be fair, that stops the plant from going down. Someone else is going to have to stick at
Attackers
one
recovered the bomb
themselves.
diffuser.
Looks like they're going to rotate in, try and retake in through kitchen for now. Lua taking their time a little bit, letting Barbara go first. It's a good bait for your team. Mia should be able to stick the plant
Attackers
here.
are activating the bomb diffuser.
Shanice, full health right now, and Barbara, she can rotate. Yes, kill from the right hand side. Mia pushing in towards kitchen for now. Lua unable to land the shots in haste here with the last kill onto Lua.
Yep, good start for Spice Girls there. Breach was open relatively quickly. Tried to clear it relatively quickly. I will say it's interesting. I'm wondering whether the plant was meant to happen a lot sooner than it actually did, and that they just got a little bit distracted by realizing, oh, there's still people alive here. They might have C4s. This might end badly. We need to actually take the fight. Perhaps a little bit more aggression was needed there to allow more room for the ace to kind of waltz in, unless he was expected to be the kind of decoy of sorts, I guess.
Yeah, I think right now I'm not quite sure what the attempt here is. I like the fact that they are going to be bringing out the Mozzie again, recognizing some of the drone work that they were having
Defenders, protect your
difficulties
bombs
with
from
in the
being defused
past.
by attackers.
Looking at this Skylia on the ace, again, something that I did like was the fact that we did see the attempted plant going down. Ultimately, it was Mia to get the plant down properly, or fully, I should say. Again, I'm expecting to see another kind of admin side clearance coming down from Spice Girls. It was something that they did do previously in that round. And it felt like something they were pretty comfortable with as well.
Bomb located by attackers.
I mean, the setup as well, it's a strong standard setup. I'm not really seeing anything too razzle-dazzly. A standard and strong setup, yeah, it really is. You got pretty much relatively standard reinforcements, relatively standard utility placement.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to rely on holding these pivotal choke points, you know, as we see here, the yellow stairs, 2 ADSs, should any grenades be tossed down from the skylight.
And again, when you've got this Nomad in play, it's really going to limit some of the jump outs that you could potentially see being brought out. So that's really going to force Endpoint into playing a little bit more passive than what you might otherwise expect.
Yeah, absolutely.
So again, using these drones, trying to make sure that this middle floor is entirely clear, lobby press, etc. And then really going to be focusing hard on this kind of admin side clearance. You're going to want to eventually open up that main printer wall at some point with the ace if you want to try and go for that style of push. However, we do see potential
Attackers have
rotate
located a bomb.
downstairs. I think, honestly, I can't really see particularly well. I believe that, yeah, there is a player, there is a defender downstairs inside of Visa.
Get ready for the breach.
Yeah, it's interesting there to see them kind of have the office and then just decide to rotate.
Yeah.
But maybe it's a case of better safe than sorry. Panda, however, is going to take down Maya. So that's going to be, you know, some self-destructibility taken off the board. It's not too bad when you are approaching this site, but it's going to start letting Endpoint get the wind under their sails.
Yeah. Chlorine detected outside, that is the dreaded couple of words on this map. Panda going for a run outside of that Visa doorway. Rotating back onto the bomb site here. I would actually be expecting potential pressure to be applied on towards some of these windows to eventually allow Skya to get in, get the plant down, and jump back out again. As it doesn't really require that much map control. It does appear that is going to be a B-bomb execute here, opening up on towards console windows, applying some pressure, probably using flashbangs, Sophia lifelines, etc. Hestia actually in a very powerful position here. It's essentially going to try and attract as much of the attention as possible. Ooh, this could be huge. If she's playing here, that means Sanjaya isn't going to be able to necessarily deny any of the pressure from outside. Lua is going to take down Panda. That's one player dead. Panda still with the C4 underneath. If this plant goes down, that's going to get C4 from underneath, and Skylar's going to die.
Ooh. I mean, the plant's being stuck by Skillet.
Oh, it doesn't connect, however. Skylar's taking a lot of damage. Will ultimately get killed off by the evil eye from Izzy. Right there, 2v2 situation. Izzy Panda up against the wall. Janice can't get in time, and Hestia not near enough.
I think again that was really well played. It was just a case of just running out of time a little bit and yeah, ultimately being forced to try and go for the plant and then Endpoint was ready and waiting for it. Both teams on a round each now though, so again, can't really suggest anything too soon. It's only going into round 3, both teams on 1 round each. I will say that, to be honest, both teams are playing this not as concrete as I thought they would. But there's definitely a lot of patience from both sides, especially in the later round. Yeah. I am curious to see if they would have pushed from the east, how different things would have turned out then, because it did seem like office was completely clear, and then they just decided to go out the window and rotate, which is fair enough, but adding that extra dimension of pressure can sometimes be very beneficial. Yeah. Catches them a little bit off guard.
So, lineup so far from Spice Girls, what would you like to see them potentially do here on this garage bomb site?
Sorry, say that again.
Okay, so looking at the attacking lineup for Spice Girls, with the opportunities that they have, all of the different operators and utility, what would you like to see them do here?
Attackers are moving to defuse the bomb.
Yeah, no, it's a tough question.
I don't know, because I think like there's so much that's changed. Really, I really do. I feel like there's part of me that I mean, I'd like to see. I know it sounds weird, but like again, a little bit more of an aggressive hold.
Okay.
And I don't think that's. I don't know whether it's because I've been a bit sport this evening with some of the aggressive lines of sight we've seen, or whether it's just me being a goblin. But I would like to see. I know why both teams are being a bit safer and patient with it, but I do just want to see something a little bit spicier.
I mean, speaking of spicy, Hestia is going to take down Panda. It's the castle dead yet again. So opening kill for the side of Spice Girls for now. We do see some pressure slowly being applied here, utilizing some of these drones to figure out where they can push. Where is clear what they want to do from this position. So Jai trying to deny the pressure on that main bit of yellow hallway. The ASML will detonate, and that's going to force the Wamai back into a more defensible position. Very good early control here being established, but Barbara upstairs takes down Shanice. Zofia dead. Second kill going down onto Pandy. There's the ace, or the Ash also gone. Skylia taking off the ace. Is now going to be in a position to potentially go for the plan on this white van if they want to try. So as he's going to
Is he
shut down
however
Hestia,
taking-
we are seeing Skylight getting down to confirm there. Sanjaya doing a lot of work here as he's got to finally shut down Mia and Endpoint. Going to be winning this round out, Grace.
Yeah. Again, it's interesting that I mentioned aggression, and then we kind of saw Panda getting a little bit aggressive on the yellow stairs. So, that was kind of fun. But again, I just kind of feel like, I think there needs to be a bit more pizzazz in parts, and I can't quite pinpoint what exactly that pizzazz is.
Okay, I like that.
I can't
respect
quite.
that.
This is the thing. I can't quite. I don't know. Something feels just not quite the same kind of style of energy that we've had, and you know, the last day they played, and even the last map, there's like a different energy, and I understand that it is probably the pressure of keeping in the upper bracket and being on, you know, second map of a best of 3. But I just want to see them get a little bit more, again, aggressive. I would like to see them be more aggressive. I think Endpoint play really well when they can take some aggressive gunfights. And I know there was a while ago, I remember speaking to Lua, and a while ago, she was talking to me about how they were playing at the time, and it was this very aggressive style, and it sounded very exciting. And I'm curious whether they'll, at any point during the season, let us see a little bit of that, a little bit of the old Russian push. But for now, I do understand why they're being a bit more standard and, you know, passive with it, and I think they have been more passive before. But I think when they're doing what may be perceived to others as aggressive, I'm not finding it aggressive in the right way, because it doesn't seem as like fully calculated, if that makes sense.
I get that. So, would you make it the post being brought out by Izzy?
Camera ready to activate.
I'm not too surprised. I think it's good. I think that obviously there's a lot of intel that can be gathered. I think people think that it's more of their kind of C4, so you need to remember why that utility is actually being brought, and 9 times out of 10 is 100% for the intel. You get essentially just a line of sight through the floors, and we have a little bit of a mute bug going on, but yeah, you just get a nice little bit of intel coming through that can be very nice. And it can also aid, for example, if you've got Barbara on the tear on the roam again, and you're calling out these positions, you're calling out all of this, she's got a C4 in pocket, of course she can do some damage with that in a little flank situation.
Yeah. So Skylar, inside of the bomb site now, is going to be attempting to go for the plant in the corner on top of the table that is going to be protected from any potential C4s. Do you see the plant being confirmed there? Very nice. Is he down below? Still going to be providing some information. The fact the plant went down in the first place. Izzy shuts down Skylar from the C4. The plant has been confirmed here. Mia's going to rotate upstairs, could potentially open the floor up above. Some Jai's going in for the defuse on the plant. That might be quick enough. She might be able to get this down. Oh, what a beautiful recovery coming down.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I was kind of like giggling to myself because that plant went down and it was so uncontested, and I could hear Panda's voice in my head being like, "What?" in like this way that she does, and it was tickling me somewhat. Like I could tell that there was definitely a Panda what moment. So that's quite amusing. But no, really good retake there. Very clean, virtually uncontested retake there from Endpoint. Yeah, so I'm taking round number 4. We're going into round number 5. They've got 2 more rounds left on their defense. Can Spice Girls hold their own on their attack? And more importantly, again, this is Spice Girls map pick, so I am super, super curious to see what they bring to the table on their defense. And I've said before, I would like to see a bit more aggression from these teams, but calculated aggression, as we saw in map number 1, and also calculated passiveness and holds, which I feel perhaps I was a little bit spoiled by it all before, and now it seems a little bit off. It seems a little bit more kind of YOLO, I suppose is how I describe it. And I want to see a bit more structure from both sides, really. A bit more structure.
Alright, so I'm going to put some Taylor Swift on in the background right now, just that way I don't have to listen to the The mute jammer
10 seconds to insertion.
is, so I'm looking at this right now. I like the fact that we are
5
seeing
seconds to insertion.
Consulate being brought out. On this, you know, in CCSW, I'm glad to see that teams are willing to try out different things, and try different maps that they might not necessarily have tried. You know, it's when we're looking at some of the other teams that are bringing out maps, you know, like Oregon, Con, you know, Clubhouse, etc. I think it's good to see Consulate every now and then.
No, do you know what? I like Consulate, and I
Yeah.
really love it when teams go to Consulate. I think absolutely it is. You can very much easily win Consulate if you understand it, and I think for a really, really long time, so many teams just avoided it in again, multiple leagues, multiple tournaments. And I really don't understand why. I think it's a great map, I really do. I'll die on that grave, to be honest. I do think it's a great map.
A bomb has been located.
So looking at the
Again-
setup. Go on.
No,
no,
carry on.
ladies
Carry on.
first.
No, please, I insist.
Alright, so looking at the setup right now, Grace, what are you thinking?
That's what I was gonna say, so that's a nice little lead
Go
into
for it.
that. No, again, it's very standard, it's very by the book, but that works really, and I don't think that you know, either team want to be too razzle-dazzly, as I've said numerous times now. I think they want this map to be, well, Endpoint certainly want it in the bag, and Spice Girls, they want to still be in a chance for winning.
Oh, yeah, so they do spot out the player over by Anti-Chamber right now. Estia playing out in the window for now. Again, with these air jabs, should be able to deny some pressure here, but Barbara just sticks out your knees.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
Estia, where's the information to provide that for your team? Sanjaya, set a connector for now. It's going to be Carrier dropped, I believe, inside of the A-bomb site. Eventually, Pandy will have to jump in, potentially try and pick that up, unless Mia wants to attempt that very dangerous task. The main issue here is bathroom. And is he playing inside a bathroom here? Sanjaya will take a fair bit of damage. Pandy jumps on in. One player inside a connector here. Sanjaya can't quite do anything there. Reducing the crossover being established. C4 underneath doesn't quite connect. Izzy relocates up towards yellow. Looking for a potential rotate here. Does spot the Yana. Doesn't quite connect the kill. Red Pink's giving away the position of these players. Can't connect the shots onto the Yana. Player still at repel. Will shut down Izzy. Needing Barbara. Fortunately, in a 1v3, Spice Girls plowed through Mia. Able to land that final blow.
And you know, Spice Girls edging ever closer to potentially, you know, finishing their attack on a perfect 3-3 split,
Yeah.
which is going to set them up really nicely for their defensive half. And again, I'm not sure how Endpoint. Well, I feel like I can predict how Endpoint will attack. I think again, it's going to be very, very patient and by the book based on how everything else has gone so far. And again, I don't blame them for doing that at all, because I think, again, as I say, I think they want to 2-0 this. But I am curious, because this was Spice Girls' map pick, whether or not we're going to see, you know, some very unique and creative holds, or whether we're just going to see, you know, the same old kind of thing.
I don't really mind. You know, it's like, it's been so long since I've casted Consulate that I honestly am okay with normal. You know, when just seeing it again, when it is relatively fresh. Now looking at this bomb site being brought out yet again by Endpoint, I've seen a couple of changes. You know, no longer bringing out the castle. I think that's fair enough. Panda
Yeah.
no longer on the castle instead of Jaeger. I think that makes sense. We have seen Panda, especially in that Chalet match, really feeling a lot more at home when she's fragging out and she's kind of opening up a lot more of these engagements here. So I think potentially the castle didn't quite provide the team with what they. Oh, fuck me. Panda. Was she spawn
Yeah.
peeking?
Attackers have located a bomb.
Yeah, that was a little bit cheeky. A little bit cheeky coming through from Panda.
Why?
And ultimately, they were ready and waiting for it. Swung out with a pre-fire.
So yeah, with the Nomads being fired out there, that's really going to limit the potential for any run-outs, jump-outs, etc. Looks like Skeller's going to attempt to open up this wall here. There are jammers on there, so they're going to have to try and clear that out. Potentially going above or around. As he's gonna shut down Istia. It's the it's Nomad Dead. Potentially use these Zofia lifelines from above if they want to try and open this up here. Mia with a double on
wow.
the nades. The Giant Izzy both dead. I wonder where that landed.
Inhabiting Gemini. Lost contact with Gemini.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, often we do see Lua and one other left in these kind of engagements, and I think Lua especially is someone that can remain very, very patient in these kind of situations. So, yes, it may be a 2v4, but it's a 2v4 with Lua's support and patience. And there we go! She's gonna take down Maya. Nice little SMG11 to the face. Scarlett's gonna take down Barbara. It's all left to Lua to finish this 1v3, but make that a 1v2 because she's gonna take down Shanice. She's also gonna down Pandy. She just has to get Skylar, who's on the tiniest bit of health. And C4 goes out! Does it land? No, it doesn't. She doesn't decide to rip it. Pandy running back.
Oh no. Really good recovery coming down there from Skylia. Look at that. We are gonna go for a rehost, as we do have the mute bug right there. Welcome back. Hope you're having a wonderful time so far. I've still got Taylor Swift on. I've been listening to Blank Space for the past. I think this has been the third re-loop of it that I've had on.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard that song, to be honest. I don't think I've heard
it's
it.
good.
No,
Taylor
I just
Swift,
want to
she's
say,
great.
like, that was just phenomenal coming through from Lua then, and I don't know what happened with that C4 then, but if she would have set it off, I'm 99% sure she would have won that. Like, it looked like it landed like from what my L5 saw, it looked like it landed.
What
and
do
it
you
could have.
see?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was referencing. Thank you for noticing.
Yep.
That fair play. Like, I love how some things just work.
Question.
You know, you say something and it just appears before you, and I was like, yes, Lua, let's go.
Okay. Lego Lasso, Aragorn.
Both.
Yeah, same. I gotta ask that from
Actively.
chat as well. Okay.
Actively in. I'm not gonna. I can't say this. I'm Grace. I don't talk about these things.
You're fine. Who cares? All right, chat.
No,
Come on. Let's get that answer. And the reason why we're gonna ask this is because absolutely fuck all is happening. We're having a rehost for the meat bug. There's not too much we could talk about there. Obviously, we could go into a fair bit of depth about that.
But
last
again,
round. But let's be honest.
that's beautiful. You didn't say it.
Yeah, that's the point.
Okay, I'm gonna say something then.
Go on, say
Again,
it.
so obviously Spice Girls is their map pick, so I am completely unsurprised that they have finished their attack for 3-3 split. I think that's good going. I think that proves why they picked this map. I think this is a good map for them. Curious to see what they bring to defense, because again, if that was a very, very strong attack, we are gonna see an even stronger defense from them as well. And again, I cannot big up enough. I know that ultimately the round went to Spice Girls, but oh my god, Lua. Oh my god. Like, some things are just magical. Like, I literally had just said, if you're in like a 2vx situation, you want Lua there with you. And that proves it. And again, it's just that C4 of it, but could have, if it, like, I'm mad. I'm impressed.
Tell you something that
but
is
I'm
going
mad.
to ruin your OCD.
No, why would I want that?
Alright, so...
Why would I want... No,
So
no, you're
if
not...
you have the stream up right now,
Uh-huh.
okay, and you look
But
down
I don't.
in the
Wait, I
panels...
need to... I'm not opening the stream, I'll get distracted and it'll be bad.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Well, I'll tell it for everyone else in chat so I can spoil it for you guys. So right now, if you scroll down in on the panels at the bottom where it says CCSW promoting women in esports, the panel's spelt wrong. It's spelt women, WOMEIN. Women. Like,
Maybe it's some kind of like old Anglo-Saxon word. Maybe. What about that? What about
let me
those?
look at
How do you
that.
like those apples,
Woman.
Fraser? Like, you can't just be like, ooh.
Yeah, I can confirm. Okay, people also ask, what is the difference between woman and women?
What?
I'm looking at Google. I googled woman meaning. And I can confirm it is not an Anglo-Saxon word.
I think it. Okay, no, I'm not going to history nerd on Maine.
Go for it.
Actually,
go
no.
for it.
Yes,
like,
I am.
nothing else to go on.
I'm
Let's go,
pretty
come on.
sure. I'm pretty sure the word "woman" in origin is actually Old Anglo-Saxon, but
I believe it.
yeah, I think it actually initially is.
Yeah.
I'm 99% sure. If I'm wrong, then joke's on me. But I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Does someone want to go check the epiteme? Is it the etymology or the epidemiology? Is it etymology?
It could be whatever you want it to be, Fraser.
Tom Hardy.
Wouldn't we all love that? But otherwise,
I would.
No. Is the thing is again looking at this, I do think that was a solid attack by Spice Girls. I think Endpoint made some mistakes that perhaps they shouldn't have. I think again, I know I wanted aggression, but some of the aggression that happened, it wasn't calculated. It was a little bit like, yes, I understand the logic of doing that, and of course you do have the map to play with, but there are times when maybe spawn peeking, not on consular, where I think everyone and their nan expects it, so it's just like, I don't know.
I don't know about you, but my nan definitely doesn't expect spawn peaks in consular.
Panda just embracing her inner Doki there, to be honest.
Yeah, that's where she lost it. I love Doki. He can't spawn peek for shit.
No, he is a little bit.
You know, he actually he taught me a spawn peek. Him and Packball actually taught me the the yellow stairs spawn peek. Facing into gas station. I couldn't figure out where it was that you're supposed to like peek through, which is atrocious. I shouldn't admit that. But I ended up getting Doki and Packball to show me it. And since then, I have gotten 1 kill from it.
I don't know. I think there's definitely certain maps where I would automatically approaching it assume that I'm going to get spawn peeked. And we definitely saw Spice Girls react in the same way, where it was like, almost instantaneously, as soon as the round starts, Panda falling because she's gone for the spawn peek and they've just been waiting and just swung out on her. Yes.
How do you feel about doing rock, paper, scissors to decide who's going to win this best of 3?
Alright, yeah, I'm down.
Alright, who do you want? Do you want Endpoint or Spice Girls?
I'll be Endpoint.
Alright, I'll go Spice Girls. Okay, so we're going to do best of 3 format, okay? It's best of 3.
Like enthusiastic, I was like, yes, come on.
Okay, okay, so we'll do rock, paper, scissors, go. And then we'll do it, okay?
Wait, I don't know how I'm handing.
From the bottom, you go rock, paper, scissors, go.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
So we'll go rock, paper, scissors, go. Alright, so we both got it. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Alright, let's go. Second time. Let's go. Rock, paper, scissors, go. Oh! Alright, that's not fair. Okay, come on, we said
No. Accept your loss, Fraser.
Oh,
accept your loss. I am the superior rock, paper, and scissor.
And on that note, we're going to continue on with the match. 3-3 scoreline. And if that rock, paper, scissors is anything to go by, we can expect that Endpoint should be winning the next round out here. But for now, Gary's Cafeteria to be brought out by Spice Girls. So we're going to be swapping over sides now. We've got Endpoint on attack, Spice Girls on defense.
Can't tell if Fraser's cut out there or if I'm just not hearing it.
I'm here. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can now, yes. I can now. I'm hoping the viewers at home can too. But yes, indeed. We are going down to basement for the first sight of Spice Girls' defensive half. And again, looking at these operator picks, relatively standard. They're bringing the pulse though again. I like to see that on Consular. I like it on many maps actually. I think it's just very useful for intel. It's not just about those ridiculous, outrageous C4 kills. It's about getting the intel 9 times out of 10, feeding that information back to your teammates and allowing them to react upon it. So yeah, expecting Skylar to be in a very pivotal position, perhaps even well, realistically, maybe either more towards the east or maybe by Pipes, kind of Yellow Stairs area, just to feed that intel if they do decide to push there. Again, what we see here is that Skylar has indeed gone to the eastern side of the map, so that'd be a nice little bit of a early round intel fed back. Are they approaching here? No. Are they approaching here? Yes. Let's get the show on the way.
Yeah. Again, got a lot of opportunities here for the side of Endpoint, especially with the operating lineup that they have brought out. You've got Izzy on Habana to open up any hatches or potential walls here. Mia is going to be supported by Skylia from underneath, and we're going to see that if we actually go into the POV of Skylia, one likely going to be spotting out the players out and repel, as a reminder that pulls can scan players up to the 3rd floor. So Panda right now, position very clearly telegraphed right now. Moz is going to be able to act upon that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean, is getting that intel and just immediately reacting back. That was a super quick reaction.
Yeah.
And yeah, Pandy ultimately winning out on the age-old battle of Panda versus Panda.
Yeah. So I mean, Pandy takes a little bit of damage, however. For the most part, she just sit down there nice and pretty. Mia, the spray onto Lewis, shuts her down. Pandy takes a fair bit of damage as well, however, is going to push back a little bit. Mia will take down Sanjaya, 2v5 situation for now. Barbara Izzy looking for their opportunity to pull this one back, but right now it is not looking likely. It's Pandy Mia. Oh, fairly low HP for now.
Yeah, it's slightly awkward too, because obviously Izzy can get that wall open, but not when there's bandit charges upon it, so, you know, someone's going to have to take one for the team and either try and shoot those charges out, or they're just going to have to attack down the staircase, realistically. Or even, it looks like they're going to try and push from the back here. You know, they're getting a little bit of intel, those drones are coming through, but there is Pandy upstairs on the tear, and she can easily come down and flank upon them. Which I think is what we're about to see, to be honest, Fraser.
Yeah, and again, it's just looking at this right now as to what they could potentially do here. Pandy, another kill going down, shuts down Izzy, leaving the carrier outside of this window right now. Barbara is going in for a tactical timeout, and well, yeah.
Yeah, I think the tactical timeout is the play right now. I don't think there's any point in trying to contest it. Gives them a good 30 seconds to play with, gives them time to kind of work out, okay, so they are actually bringing the thunder. How are we actually going to approach this? Because this is a little bit of a sweat fest.
Yeah. I mean, looking at it right now, I don't think there's really much that Barbara can achieve right now, so it looks like they are just going to go for another
10 seconds to go.
wee break just to give us a bit of a timeout to figure out what they want to try and do here. Yeah. Lovely.
Operators, you are out of time.
So what are your thoughts right now, looking at Spice Girls starting to take lead here?
Yeah, I mean, again, it would be weird for me to be like, oh yeah, it's really surprising. Like, if this is their map pick.
Yeah, it's not.
So I find that it would be unwise to be like, oh wow, how are they winning? Ooh, when they wouldn't have taken Endpoint here if they weren't feeling confident about it. And there's always a reason for that confidence. It's because they've rehearsed it till the cows come home.
What? I've never heard of that in my life. Till the cows come home.
Till the cows come home?
Yeah. I don't have any
Sorry,
cows.
I'm from Shropshire.
Yeah, oh yeah, that clarifies things. Okay, yeah, sorry, I forgot. You're from, yeah,
Big old farm girl.
Uh-huh.
No, cows come home. It's like the end of the day.
Ah, nice.
A long time, an extended period of time, waiting till the end of the day.
Waiting for the
what that
cows
means.
to come home.
Yes.
Nice. I
What are
respect
those
that.
cows?
Love some cows.
10 seconds
Anyway,
left
so
before insertion.
we do have Mia bringing out the Rook, actually, something I'd want to highlight here.
5 seconds left before insertion.
You don't often see the Rook being brought out. Just provide a little bit of protection there, but 33% damage reduction, I believe. 33% damage, damage reduction modifier. Plus also a confirmed down but not out if you get hit in anywhere but the head.
it's... See, this is the thing. The rook being brought implies to me that there's going to be an aggressive line of sight help, but I'm just trying to work out where that's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, well, the rook has the 2 times the MP5, so it's quite powerful.
But I'm just... Hang on, let me just try and... What do my elf eyes see? Okay, so Maya's actually by a long desk, so... I mean, I guess that makes sense in a way, but I'd like to see, again, just a little bit more of an aggressive setup if you're bringing an operator like that.
I'm actually going to drag our observer in here so we can potentially ask him to see if we can look at Mia, see exactly where they are, where they'll play with the MP5, as you mentioned. Very powerful weapon. Is Shanice playing down below? Interesting. I think really it's going to be the rook that's going to be my main focus here, because, again, as you mentioned, it's interesting to see what they're attempting to do here with this position.
The thing is a little bit risky biscuits here also is that Maya might be a little bit open to spiral, so if Endpoint suddenly decide to, you know, take that all of a sudden, that could be a little bit weird, but obviously for now she is relatively safe.
Yeah. Thank you very much to our observer for showing that. I believe we got Feed Machine for today. It's basically putting up with all of our shenanigans for now, all of our hooliganism. Skylia gets a kill onto Panda. I believe in yellow staircase right there. We do see several players stacked up over here. Mia potentially going to go for a jump out. Air jab sets off. Histia gets the kill. Very nice teamwork coordination to allow that to occur. Grace?
Yeah, but indeed, like, how do you allow that to happen? Getting knocked back a little bit there is a little bit... It gives someone the time to react, but 2 of them come out the window, Fraser. That was a little bit too spicy. Once again, perhaps Endpoint are in a position where they are going to take a tactical timeout, but... it's a really strong defense coming through from Spice Girls, and, you know, unsurprisingly, again, it is their map pick, but it's just, again, okay, so I asked for aggression, and I certainly got it then, you know?
Yeah. I mean, right now, what we're seeing is a really good example of what you can come to expect when you play a map that you're comfortable with. Pandy's gonna shut down Izzy. Lovely little headshot there to finish things up. Aware of the position of Habana, so a couple of shots takes her down. Very nice.
I'm wondering what Endpoint might do with their lineup here, whether they will start to change some of these operators around, or whether they'll just take a different approach to attack. Still feels like they're being standard with these operator picks then, so they're not going to try and mix things up too much. I think they feel that their push is probably the issue here, so they're trying to determine a way to change that, or at least make it a little bit stronger. Again, though, Spice Girls last round were getting very, very aggressive, and I think if that's going to set up a bit of a momentum, we might see them get even more aggressive in this next round, to be honest.
Yeah. So we're 1 round away from match point for Spice Girls. That's going to push us onto that 3rd map.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, again, the thing is like if we do go to Clubhouse, it's this idea of it was probably not the secret weapon either team had, and it's going to be that evenly balanced, even Stevens standard map that everyone knows how to approach. So again, that's probably going to end up coming down to more A, mechanical skill, or B, who is willing to adapt or be a bit more creative to get the upper hand.
Yeah, I mean, I always like Clubhouse. I think it's always quite fun to see it being played out. But looking at how this match is kind of played out thus far, I think it really does go to show just that Spice Girls are capable of bringing him back over time. I mean, despite the losses that they suffered from, Rush. It's gonna be a rush in through that main garage, and the shuts down Pandy, very nice. First opening kill going in their favor. Looks like they're gonna be applying pressure over towards cafeteria for now. Grace, I'm gonna pass over to you here.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's a... I love the little mirrors, and again, I've
Yep.
said this so many times this evening, when mirrors on the board and people actually choose to utilize her, I'm like, this is just so sweaty and disgusting, and ooh, well actually, Endpoint are going to retaliate in a very explosive way, sending in a little bit of a grenade there. Shanice being knocked down to 50% of her health, actually less than 50% of her health. Drones coming through for days. Perhaps someone now has the opportunity to aggressively push up this corridor, and they do indeed, and there we go, and Lua is going to take down Shanice as expected, so there we go. That is how you deal with a mirror. Hista is going to retaliate by taking down Sunja, and Skylar's going to take down Izzy. Lua's going to retaliate by taking down Skylar as well. It's all left down to Hestia, and it's a 1v3 situation.
Yep.
Diffuser is going down. She has to make her way downstairs. She's not going to get to stop this diffuser in time. She has to go for the post plant and win a 1v3 post plant situation. Fraser.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this right now, he's still got a couple opportunities here to start making this work in their favour. Lifelines go flying on in towards that main armory hallway for now. The kill can't quite connect it. There it goes. Lua dead. One inside of kitchen, the other archive. Step 1, focus on one of them. Step 2, focus on the second one here. Looks like that's what she's going to attempt to do here, pushing it towards the closet. I've been in there for a good couple of years. You find your way out of there at some point. Can't quite connect the kill, however. Gonna peek across, and it's gonna be Barbara to shut her down. Endpoint able to win that one through. It looks like we are gonna go back to our cameras for some reason. Not quite sure why. We're gonna be resetting as we can talk about this for now. Grace, it's been an exciting night so far.
It has, yeah. And I think, again, it's Endpoint just clawed their way back. Can they get one more round of back? We could go to overtime here. I believe we can go to overtime. Absolutely we can. But again, Spice Girls are just bringing just such it's a very, very solid defense. And again, absolutely Endpoint are going to retaliate now by being a bit more clean cut. And I think they absolutely did it on the nose then, where they were like able to use their utility and then force their way up after clearing out that mirror spot, and it just kind of all unraveled. It was kind of the catalyst that caused that round to go in their favor. Very well played there by Endpoint.
So, is there anyone that you'd really like to highlight from the side of Endpoint there on that attack? Because personally, for me, it'd have to be Panda there.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, just the utility use and then getting aggressive, and it's like a lot of people would be scared to do that against a mirror, but this is what I mean. Like these ladies have played together for so long, and they can coordinate themselves in such a way where they can do things like that, and they can comfortably do things like that, and they trust each other to do things like that. So yeah, I agree with you with Panda there, and I think if I say Lua, I'm just going to end up sounding like the Lua fan club, which I am. But I think I do want to say that, like, Skylar's been showing up as well, absolutely. And again, the fact that these teams are bringing pulse utility is really pleasing to me.
Yeah.
Still, so I'm happy about that.
So still trying to clear out the bandit batteries on this main wall here. Gonna attempt to use some frag grenades there. Mia, actually, this could be a very powerful position. We've got a couple players stacked up on that second floor. They need to be dealt with, because if they don't, well, then they're just going to set up there, waste a bit of time, utility, and then eventually they're going to rotate down and shoot you in the back, which is not so good.
Yeah, indeed, and that wall's gonna go. Oh, they're rushing for the plant. It looks like they're holding angles. They're gonna be trying to get that plant down. Yep, Lua's pushed forward. They're gonna get a flurry of kills. Pandy's gonna try and retaliate with a double kill. Maya's gonna take down Lua. The plant goes down though. That is the diffuser planted, and it's a 3v2 situation, but it is a post plant. There we go, Fraser. All they have to do is land their shots, and they can safely go for that defuse.
Yep, match point now. The side of Spice Girls. Gonna pull this one back there. Endpoint. Good attempt, unfortunately wasn't quite enough. Spice Girls, pull it down.
It's a shame because it's again, the plant went down and all they had to do was hold their angles, and I'm curious to see if Endpoint would have done a bit more of a safer pullback if they maybe left, holding the angle but kind of slowly made their way out of the garage again. Whether that could have gone a little bit different, but well played Spice Girls for being able to pull that back and you know, win out the post plan. We're seeing a bit of Chanky come through
Ooh, okay.
now, which is.
Um,
Oh wait, no, 6 big. Of course.
But to be fair, it is Maestro, the big Italian boy, spelt B-O-I.
Boy.
Boy,
Attackers need
love
to
it.
locate and defuse bombs.
Alright. So, looking at this lineup being brought out by both teams, I do like them. I think the operators that are being brought out, I think, are always quite interesting. And I like the fact that we are seeing different forms of landing now being brought out inside of Spice Girls. You've got the Maestro, you've got the C4s, or at least the C4 singular for Shanice. And again, I think that's quite good. It's a nice little kind of variation there.
Yeah, defo.
10 seconds to go.
I mean, again, this is where the pressure's certainly on, and I think
5 seconds remaining.
you know, last time they came here and we saw the aggressive runouts. Like I'm wondering if they did that again, whether it be to their detriment, because perhaps if you really want to secure this map, the best thing to do is to just play it safe and pull back a little bit and be a bit more anchory with it. But I am curious to see if we see any runouts like we did last time. But for now, not even any spawn peaks, so it does look like they're playing it a little bit safe. The drones as well, feeding back some intel about what is left there on yellow stairs. There's not really anyone holding yellow stairs, despite the fact that there is ADS utility there. So I think that's going to be a relatively speedy take there, unless that's a long line of sight from bathroom. I can't quite tell.
Not quite sure. I didn't really see it there. I would be expecting yet again that we are going to see some. Wait a minute. How are they playing this pump? Oh, no, apologies. Ignore me. Ignore me. I'm being an idiot. Mia is going to get down there. Lion Lua are going to see the front grenade. Is going to confirm right there. As Panda picks up another one onto Pandy. He's still playing his enemy meeting for now. I'm interested to know whether or not the C4 could potentially play in from Shanice and Sanjaya. And shut down Skyline. There's another player dropped down. Sanjaya's going to take point going in towards the B bomb site here. Going in for the plant. Shanice with the C4 underneath. It's going to get demolished by Panda, leaving the last player standing. It is going to be Lua. Clean that one up. A flawless round for Endpoint.
Absolutely, and you know, clutching their way back, trying to force this to overtime. One more round in the one more round in the bag, and they can force this to overtime. I think that was really smooth by Endpoint. Again, perfect use of utility. It's the same kind of thing as we saw with the mirror window downstairs. It's just knowing, okay, we know this person's there, let's just cook a nade and clear them out the way. To be honest, they didn't even need to go for the second grenade if they didn't want it, but I guess it's better to be safe than sorry. Yeah, really just absolutely smooth, and we saw it was smooth because it, as you say, it was a flawless round. Nobody died throughout that entire round on the side of Endpoint, so fair play, to be honest. And you know, one more round in the bag, and to do that under that much pressure as well, Fraser, is significantly good.
I have to admit something to you. Okay. So you know in that last round, I just started saying like I'm confused about why they're doing something. It was because I accidentally tapped out because I was looking at some messages from production, and I tapped back in, and I forgot that I was watching the stream with the 3-minute delay. So I was like, I wonder why they're going back downstairs to garage because they just won that. And then it clicked that I'm watching the stream with the 3-minute delay on,
5 seconds left.
rather than the clean feed.
Oh dear.
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and defuse it. Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
So
So here we go, round underway. There's still some placements to be put down here by Spice Girls though, so I'm wondering if this is a bit of a late setup, but obviously as well, they're not really too worried. I think, again, they're playing it very defensively. There's no spawn things coming through. Endpoint, however, absolutely setting up for the same kind of smooth, coherent push, it would appear. Again, having to burn out some of their utility on these castle barricades this time, though.
yeah. And again, I mean, what this is going to do is it's going to force, you know, them to be a lot more careful, the utility that they're leaving for the bomb site proper here, as they are going to be using Habana to open up that bathroom there. Pandy takes some of the Zofia lifeline. Try and protect her there a little bit. Lure. Her grenade is going to get tossed up. It's going to get bombed out. Second one to be tossed up as well. He's going to catch Pandy over a little bit. He's going to rotate down a little bit. You see the player below at the bottom of yellow. Pandy. Not going to be away. Lure shuts her down. Very nice aggression come down from Lure. Seals control of exit stairs. The yellow stairs. Hasty, it's going to shut down Barbara. Nice little run out coming in. Does appear there is one person coming in, and it's going to be Panda to shut her down. 4-3 advantage in favour of Endpoint for now. It's Mia playing inside of the connector room for now, waiting for the player to potentially jump on in. Two players forgot to pick up their armour plates, also known as your sweaters. Skylia is going to punish some of the attackers for that sin. Skylia picks in Panda. Lua does get the refrag.
Yes, indeed. Shanice downstairs with a C4 just in case they go for our plan. But Maya is going to be taken down upstairs. So there's now no one holding sight upstairs. It's just Shanice below. As I say, C4 in hand. She's going to send it prematurely, I think. And it's not going to land on anyone. And now Endpoint really can go for the plant because it's poor little Shanice running up these spiral stairs. We are going to overtime.
Yep. Lure coming down underneath. Knew there was a player underneath for the C4. Gets the kill on the return. And well, that is a return to sender. Now leaving at round 13, we are going to overtime. Well, both these teams get to battle it out for a little bit longer.
I'm completely here for it.
Yeah,
100% here for it. And I think, again, Endpoint, they're starting this overtime on the attack. They've got the momentum. They've got the wind under their sails right now from those last two rounds. This could go either way. As I say, Spice Girls have a very, very strong defense here. This is their map, and we've certainly seen why they chose to go here. But Endpoint have started to get that little summit. You know what I mean? It's a little spark, a little wind under the sails, as I say. So, this could go either way right now, Fraser. I'm on the edge of my seat. You probably are. I certainly hope the people at home are too.
Yeah, I'm here for it. You know what? I think it is an absolute blast to see these girls giving it their best and seeing how it's going to work out. You know what? I don't know. I'm just enjoying the fact that I'm seeing some players that I've been, I've seen competing for a year, 2 years now. Going up against women that I had never met. Up until a month or two ago. And to see how close this is getting is honestly one of the best feelings in the world, because it reminds me that there's always going to be more talent coming in. There's always going to be more players coming in for the first experiences of the competitive scene. And it kind of fills me with a lot of hope that things are only going to continue to grow and expand.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're seeing in multiple esports women's rosters actually making their way, up and up and up. And even Cloud9 with Ali, like it's very, very promising, and it makes me very happy.
Yeah.
Certainly. But so far at the moment, we are nearly a minute gone on the clock. Not too much has happened yet. I'm not expecting it to. Again, both these teams. It's now overtime. They're going to be playing it a little bit safe.
I think Panty's dead here. You've got a player out in front of windows, so she can't rotate out. You've got the pressure coming in. Zofia lifeline. She's gone. She's dead. She's gone. Frag grenades. Just wait for it. And well, they know exactly where she is. They're just going to try and hold her there so they can throw in some grenades, go into the southern window here. Mia is going to get the first kill onto Lure. Looking for the second one. Pandy gets the kill onto Sanjaya. The pressure is slowly seeping in. Mia will take down Panda as he's applying some pressure through the western windows, but for now waits for the jump out. Does connect. Skylia standing.
Yeah, and again, it's gonna look like a minute and a half or so of a tactical timeout here. Which is interesting. I guess, Barbara doesn't want to try and contest a 1v5 with minimal intel and no diffuser. Yeah. So I think we are going to be here for a little bit. But, that is a very, very strong start to overtime from the side of Spice Girls. I think absolutely they will be very happy with that. 5v1 going into this. That's gonna feel good, and I think they're gonna be very, very confident on their attack next as well. So, little bit spooky for Endpoint now. A little bit spooky. Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Nice little double. Okay, that's gonna open the door a little bit, quite literally here. There's 3 players left to find right now. You've got Skylar, Shanice, and Maya. Or Mia, I should say. Apologies about that. 30 seconds, so gonna be time to try and make a wee move in towards the anti-chamber from now, pushing over towards press room. The shots coming down. There's gonna be Mia on the vigil. You get across. Looking for the kill. Can't quite connect it just yet. Looking for the player. It's 10 seconds.
10
Skylar
seconds
could be unhappy about that. Not gonna be able to get another kill. Guess one. Shanice's gonna shut him down.
Goodness. I mean, to be fair, snuffling up, 3 kills.
Yeah, it's decent.
Yeah, it's good going. It's good going.
Alright, so now overtime match point. The side of Spice Grills. I'm going to be pretty happy about that. If they win this round, that's going to push us to the 3rd map in this best of 3. Console, office, and meeting room to be brought out at the side of Endpoint.
Yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about that, actually. I think there's certainly reasoning behind it. We'll probably see a nice little bit of utility setup, I think. I'm not expecting them to do any kind of spawn peek here, and if they do, I'll be very cross. I think that would be a slight waste.
Yeah.
Attackers need to locate
I mean,
and
But
defuse as many
nonetheless,
bombs as they
again,
can.
Spice Girls, they had such a powerful attack that I am curious to see how this is gonna go for them.
Yeah.
I think it's one thing I do want to say is, again, this is Spice Girls map pick, so they are doing really well, and I can see where they're coming here. But for Endpoint to show up also, this is exactly what I meant earlier, where it was like you can tell they've played together for such a long time, and they're so well rehearsed in not only this map, but playing with each other on this map.
So,
5 seconds left.
obviously we've spoken about, with Endpoint, some of their more prominent members. I'm going to ask you about Spice Girls. And about whether or not there has been any individual player that has stood out for you. Over the course of this map in particular.
I
That's a
mean,
tough question.
Skylia definitely. Skylia definitely. Again, Pandy as well. It's kind of been quite amusing to see Panda versus Panda. I'll say that realistically, again with Spice Girls, it's been a pleasant experience for me to just get to see some of these players play, because the only person I knew of was Shanice. Because Shanice, I played in the first CCSW. I don't think the rest of them did, correct me if I'm wrong though. So it's been nice to kind of see what they're capable of. And certainly, again, Pandy and Skylia kind of very much showing up on this map. Getting some very beneficial kills for their team. Certainly so. So that they stand out to me the most on this map, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Pandy playing out on the balcony for now. Lure close beside here on that A-bomb chassis. Mia's just going right on past over towards the bathroom window. Could potentially go for a nade onto Izzy here if they're aware of this.
Oh, and that actually did some damage to, both Izzy and Panda there. So that could have been a little bit dangerous.
A bomb has been located.
I think, judging by the setup coming down from Endpoint, do you reckon Spice Girls are going to be able to break
The
this?
attacker's bomb diffuser has been dropped.
I mean, I was gonna say yes until we saw Skylar get an SMG-11 to the Gubbins, and there we go. But as well, Panda taking down Shanice, but a nice little nade from Maya. Lewis going to retaliate by also taking down Pandy. A 2v4 situation. Do I think it now? Potentially not. Potentially we're going to go to, 7-7. And at that point, it's anyone's match, to be honest, Fraser.
Yeah. And again, so what we're seeing right now, you've got Hasty and Maya both going to be looking towards applying themselves over towards this main bomb site here. Lure shoots down Mia, last player standing. Hasty the Nomad, out in the rappel, connector window. As 30 seconds going to tick away from now. He's just going to make a move over towards the main door. Runner comes through, Panda shuts her down.
And yeah, so still in it to win it. One thing I will say is, like, obviously to lose your first map 7-2 and then to come back to the point where you're on a 7-7 overtime match point, that is really good going by Spice Girls. They did not let that first map ruin their momentum at all, and if anything, they came in really, really strongly, and they're still playing really, really strongly. So I think hats off to them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, console office meeting to be brought out by Spice Girls. Overtime match point. This cannot possibly go any longer. Unless, of course, Spice Girls call for a rehost. Well, let's hope that they don't. 7-7. This map could not have gone any other way.
Yeah. Sorry, my feed appears to be
Yeah,
frozen
actually,
right now.
so has mine.
Oh, okay. There we are then.
Okay, so we do have a slight issue, so we are going to come back. I may have spoken too soon there, but I said it can't possibly go... It cannot possibly...
You've jinxed it. Look what you've done. Look what...
Unfortunately, the feed got disconnected there.
Oh, no. Okay, so I'm not sure whether the players are gonna rehost that or not, but that is...
They're gonna continue
the players
to play.
are continuing
Thank
to
God.
play. So we have no idea what's happening right now. We can only think about what unspeakable horrors
Alright,
these
let's,
ladies are raining
do you
down
wanna,
upon
like,
each
try and
other.
pretend that the match is going on right now?
No,
Okay.
because I would just want to see it. But again, I don't know. I mean, what I'm expecting, again, it's this endpoint attacking when they've attacked really well. You know, the last few attacks, bar the first one, I think. No, they won that one, didn't they? But
Yep.
it can go either way. It genuinely, and I mean it in my heart of hearts when I say this can genuinely go either way, because both of these teams are absolutely slapping their heads into each other right now. There's a lot of strong utility use coming through, or even, you know, the last round, yes, endpoint won, but you could still see what Spice Girls were trying to do with their utility in the early round, and it was, you know, no faults there at all. It's just a case of you know, trying to go and peak, and endpoint be ready and waiting for it.
Alright, so just for a little bit of official confirmation, what we've heard from our producer is that this round is going to continue on, despite the fact that we can no longer watch it. What we are going to do is we're going to find the result out in a couple of minutes. We're going to get a screenshot for the final, and then we'll see basically what happens from there. Again, it's unfortunate these things happen due to the amount of technical issues that we've had throughout today. We are not going to ask the players to pause any longer. It would be unfair, both on a competitive level, to stop them now. Let's be honest, that's going to blunt any momentum that they built up over the last God knows how long. But also, secondly, it's just kind of shitty. So we're not going to bring the players out. We're just going to let them play that one out, and then we're going to find that out as and when. Again, it's an unfortunate situation. There's not too much we could really do about that. But we are... inevitably trying our best.
Yeah, and yeah, that's all we can do.
Yep.
But again, I think I just want to say again, like, I do think this has been a really strong map for both these teams.
Yep.
And I'm gonna be curious to see if we see them go to this in future. And if they do, what changes they might bring to the table, or indeed if anyone will counter-strat them. I mean, obviously the loser of this match goes back into the lower bracket and the winner carries on. Both these teams are remaining in the tournament, so it's anybody's, to be honest. There could even be someone in even the lower bracket forcing the consulate, because they could try and be like, oh, we know what they'll bring to the table. Maybe they won't have time to make new strats for it. Let's just try and force that consulate. We'll make something absolutely disgusting and bring them to it. I don't know. There's so much potential for stuff like that, and that's what I really love about Siege competitive, is just like seeing how people retaliate to each other and what they're capable of and what they do.
Yeah, and I mean, as a reminder, if this map is won from the side of Spice Girls, then that means that you're going to continue on to a third map that is going to be Clubhouse, I believe. If Endpoint won this one, that means they've won this best of 3. They're going to move straight on into the upper bracket, I believe. Lower bracket. Someone's going to tell me in my ear in a second. I'm just going to figure that out. I don't know. I just explain what I get told by the producers, and that's great. But for now, we're just still waiting. We'll hopefully find something out soon. What's the weather like right now where you are, Grace?
I was gonna say, Spice Girls just won that map, so there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to map number 3 in this best of 3 semi-final of the CCSW tournament.
Nice.
So we do apologize that you couldn't see the gameplay, but ultimately that is how it's gone. And we're gonna go to map number 3, Clubhouse.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for that one. I think third map, what better way of finishing out tonight than having a full best of 3 where one of the matches has gone to overtime. No idea about the third one. I'm excited about this. I think, honestly, there is no better way of Spice Girls holding it back by playing their hearts and their minds out.
Absolutely, no, 100%. And again, as I said before, to go from like a 7-2 loss to then winning like 8-7, they have absolutely not only dealt with the mental shake that happens sometimes when you get beaten with a score like that, but they have gone into Consulate and they've absolutely just full send to the moon with it. So I'm curious to see what both these teams bring to Clubhouse. I genuinely am. As I said earlier, it's the very standard map. Everyone knows how to attack it. Everyone knows how to defend it. Everyone should know this map like the back of their hands. So there's so much potential for this. I'm excited for it, to be honest. I'm very excited. And I think absolutely we should have ended up on the third map here. No question about it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to go for a quick break just so we can organise everything, get everyone back into the lobby. We can kick off as soon as humanly possible. So please don't go there unless you want to go check out social media. We'll be back probably in the next few minutes.
Hello, CCSW European Division is back once again, and it seems like the man who wears all the hats today, that's me, is now the Fraser, the McCready, Is that what we're calling it today? Anyways, I have kicked out Fraser. Unfortunately, he had to step away due to a personal emergency, so I've been booted off the host role, and now, Grace, you're blessed with my presence.
I am indeed. What a wonderful thing.
It should be a fun time. Honestly, at the start of the series, we were highlighting that, you know, the second semifinal of the day was going to be just as good as the first one, if not better. And so far, map number 2 of Consulate, they were the dominant force, slipped in the last 2 rounds. You know, round 11, they gave probably a few too many, you know, bonus points to Endpoint. And in the end, we found ourselves in overtime round 15.
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. These two teams are just absolutely going at it with each other in a way that is just making me very happy. We're seeing a lot of perfect utility use on both the teams' attacks. And the fact that we're going to Clubhouse as well is just like a bit chef's kiss right now, because I think, yeah, best of 3. Both team have picked a map that they're clearly very proficient at. Oregon, actually. It's not Clubhouse. I thought it was Clubhouse. I swear we had Clubhouse before. Am I losing my
to see the C's. Like, I always like to see all the C's in play. Sadly, I guess, you know, we could change the English language. We can, you know, make Oregon be spelled with a C. Like, the C could be silent.
Oregon, maybe indeed.
Oregon?
But you
Oregon?
know what?
I always call it Oregon, but I guess we can upgrade to Corrigan. Or we can have a silent B in front of the C.
Maybe indeed. But no, I mean, the point still stands with Oregon. Like I said when Oregon first came out and it first came into competitive, I was like, this is basically like Clubhouse 2.0 now, where it's like, it's very standard. Everyone knows how to attack it. Everyone knows how to defend it. It's a map that a lot of people picked up just so quickly. and again, there's pivotal choke points to hold. We did see Oregon again this evening in the first matchup as well. So we will presumably see, again, very similar ways of approaching. One thing I do want to see is more two-dimensional pushes, because I have, earlier in the day, I think that there was less of a second dimension coming through from those teams. And I think with these teams, this is when they would be able to do something like that. And they'd do it safely and in a way that isn't too kind of, I wouldn't say scattered, in a way where it's like they would use every single piece of utility in their belt and they would make sure that they were going at it to get the job done. So that's going to be quite exciting to see, I think, and also what these bans will do ultimately, because again, the first time we came here, I think you remember me getting excited about the smoke bans.
You went, woo!
Yeah, because it was just like, it was so pivotal. But I don't think these teams are going to ban out the smoke, so we might actually end up with, the classic smoke holds, where we do have that elbow spot in blue held with the smoke, those toxic canisters for shield, ADSs to protect it all. I genuinely, I'll eat my hat if it doesn't happen, because I know it's going to happen. So we will get the smoke. But again, it's what these teams then do choose to ban out that I'm most excited for.
I think you're reading my mind, because I was actually going to bring out the exact point that you were. What type of executes are we going to see? Because in North America, most of our executes are always two-pronged, right? You're usually pushing in from, South Games, which is that double wall over by master bedroom. And then it's always a different push. Some players are trying to bring back, like OG, like cafe strategies where you'd execute in a reading, soften up cocktail. So they replicate that here on Oregon. They bring out the buck. They push underneath in kitchen. They remove all the players over by mini dorm. Or, they go with the more traditional way of having the Maverick push over towards, North Attic, clearing through South Pit. Or I've really liked to see teams, open up that big window. You don't have to execute there, but as long as that
pressure.
window's opened up, the defense, that highway between the two bomb sites, a highway between White and the rotation into South Games, is going to be practically nullified, because the threat of an attacker there is going to change and just kind of be logged in the back of the mind of those defenders, and they won't have, the fluid movement that is desirable.
Yeah, no, 100%. I completely agree. And I think, one thing I will say about, I find there is a clear difference. It's very clear. A lot of the North American women's teams play constantly for like the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Just all the time seeing them play. And I think that North America and Europe have very different ways of approaching competitive Siege, certainly. North American teams are super good at being creative with their utility and how they're placing it and what they're actually going to do with it. I think when I do see teams be a bit more creative, it's almost always a North American women's team. But the European women's teams, they have so much more patience, it seems. I don't know if it's just because maybe the North American ladies are just very excitable, but the European teams are so good at. We saw it actually tonight with ENDPOINT and Spice Girls. It's knowing when to pull back and knowing when to be aggressive. And we're probably going to see that and more examples of that now. Sometimes you can just go out of a window. You don't have to hold an angle from within the site. You can just go. So I'm expecting to see a little bit more of that. And again, I am laughing because my paper still says Clubhouse. So I need to cross that out for Oregon. But yeah, we're going to get into it anyway. So these bans are going to come up. And again, I am expecting almost immediately a kind of Thatcher situation to be taken away, especially as Spice Girls will be banning first and they will be starting on their defense. It would be foolish, I feel, for them to allow Thatcher to stay on the board. But we will see.
I mean, poor Thatcher. Truly the bane of Rainbow Six Siege. I've never seen a Thatcher ban in my life. Let's be honest, Ben. He's never been banned ever, Oh, there, I jinxed it.
There we
He's
go.
been banned. Surprise. You need like one of those like birthday horn things go, every time he's banned.
Oh, like the little rolly outy tooty
yeah,
thing.
exactly. I don't know what they're called. Birthday
I know what they're
horn
called.
thingies.
I rolly outy tooty thing, like.
No, Thatcher, normal ban, but we've seen a lot of players start to debate on maybe a Maverick, maybe a Hibana, or somebody who's designed to remove utility. Flores, the newest addition into competitive, he can bypass just about every roster setup simply because they're going to be bringing out Aruni gates, Wamais, ADSs, and those explodey RCX drones will just wave on by as they drive on by.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I'm not too surprised to see Endpoint ban out Kaid. I think they want any kind of counter to the hard breach to be also easily shot out from underneath if they can. They don't want to rely too much on a Maverick, which they presumably would bring as well. It's having as much flexibility as possible here. Again, this is the last map of the best of 3. You want to not rely too much on the immediate operators that you're bringing and allow room for, okay, if someone does die, can we still get this open? Can we still do X, Y, Z? And yeah, looking at this again, relatively, I'm not too like, oh wow, that's a different thing by this, but again, I am expecting the way that they're going to push to be the defining factor here.
Now, I will say in North America, I'm not sure if it's here for, the European region, but we've been seeing a lot of Mira slipping their way through the bandwidth, which means a lot of teams are starting to bring out Mira. Now, I've always called something a Mira fallacy is when, Mira slips her way through a ban phase, and then rosters are going to find themselves in a decision-making hour. Do they actually bring out Mira? Because, in most scrims in North America, if Mira's banned, that means you're not making strats for her, you're not practicing her, and when she enters into a live match, since none of those, aforementioned criteria have been reached, you're just not going to play her because you don't know how a strat's going to work. Most of the time, rosters are dry running, scrimming, strats 100 times so they can realize that, hey, in Pro League, this bomb site has a 65% win rate. Our amateur strat is having a 62% win rate. Perfect. And if that gets, screwed up by a Mira entering in, you're just not going to change it because you don't want to, risk that win-loss ratio that you've worked so hard to achieve.
Yeah, no, 100%. I couldn't put it better myself. You're so used to her being banned out, you just don't even consider putting her into a strat. And yeah, it is a bit risky biscuits to even consider just randomly mixing things up last minute. Certainly not on the last map of this best of 3. I think that would be a little bit too risky. And again, I don't think either of these teams want to potentially make any mistake right now. I think they're going to stick to what they're comfortable with, what they've scrimmed. Just keep it by the book, essentially. And even already, we're seeing these Nomad air jabs go out and create a little safety cushion almost for Endpoint to start working their way through that attic area. Begin the approach to that attic area. I think Lou is going to join up with Barbara and start getting that wall open. Whilst this attack also comes through from bedroom. Interestingly enough, it's interesting to see a bit of utility has to be used initially. I am just worried that, yes, it may waste a bit of time, but what could be quite a nice little feat add to that is if they had someone actually playing trophy. So when this utility comes through now with that initial Syria, we are going to then see a little bit of a swing out.
Misplay starting us off for Endpoint trying to deal with the electric utility currently on the South Games wall. So Panda makes a vault in to land that second impact grenade. But Valkyrie is there to answer it out, and now executing the South Games is going to be a little bit more difficult. Seems like Bandit wanted to play hyper-aggressive. You spotted out that run out for just a half a millisecond. Unfortunately, they're going to find themselves on the bad end of that M4. Both rosters starting to equalize, but the primary objective of doing a two-pronged assault, opening up North Games and South Games, is just taking a little bit long. Finally, an Ace Selma charge will go off from that wall, allowing for a new prong to be created by Endpoint.
Yeah, certainly. I think this positioning's kind of a little bit too aggressive from Pandy. She might get caught a little bit off guard here. She's very, very close and tucked to that wall. The attic's going to start getting opened up too, and that wall into trophy as well. Sunjia is actually going to take down Histia, so Endpoint once again. Well, there's a second kill for her as well. Endpoint slowly whittling down the defensive players, and there we go, another one bites for dust, but finally she is shut down by Pandy. Bravo's going to finish it off. That's Endpoint winning round number 1.
Sunjia, a woman on a mission, she realized, checked her wristwatch and said, we need to start to go for an execute. After losing that opening duel to, a silly mistake, no drones over in Classroom, facilitating access to that South Games wall, Endpoint did a wonderful job of swinging around and recovering, pushing and putting emphasis over on trophy and just taking gunfights. Whether or not they're based on information, mechanical skill, or just game sense, it really doesn't matter in a sub 60-second execute scenario like that. What it really matters is, the crossfires that the attacking roster have, which they had plenty coming in from North Attic, as well as the breach from games. You couple that with, pushing in from trophy side, and all of a sudden those defenders of Spice Girls who are just playing very aggressive, trying to go for a bandit trick, maybe stopping an attacker just swinging immediately on that Selma charge, finds themselves in a very awkward scenario. Multiple gun barrels starting to rifle bullets down range, and Endpoint was able to exploit the aggressiveness of Spice Girls.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I am curious to see if we are going to see a bit of adaptations now, especially with this utility use around bedroom. It doesn't actually seem like Histia is going all the way to the balcony doorway, so I think that is a placement actually being relocated. Which, again, I'm happy about that, to be honest, because I wasn't sure whether that was a little bit... No, I would say it's wasted, but it just felt very much like, okay, if you're not going to have someone stood in trophy to kind of deal with the fact that they've wasted time and might funnel in through that doorway a little bit. I'm not going to say, again, wasted, but like a little bit meh. Doesn't really give the kind of momentum that I think Spice Girls need to be bringing to the table right now.
Now, I'm curious to take your opinion on this. So Endpoint's going to be running more or less the same operator lineup. Panda is going to be bringing out that Sophia. Panda lost their life early on because they weren't able to, have the arcing projectile of the impact grenade of that lifeline find its target. Would you be better off bringing out the Ash? Now, I know, Ash has recently been nerfed, primary weapons don't do as much damage, and there's another opportunity cost, is the fact that Sophia can burn her own ADSs. Those stun grenades aren't always used to, stun lock a player. But what is better? Accurate movement into classroom, or precision to remove utility on the wall, or, the ability to burn your own ADSs?
Yeah, I get it, but I'm also thinking that perhaps it's more down to the fact that Endpoint have played together for a very long time. They know how to coordinate a push or pinch together, and I think they want the stun utility for that specific reason. Alternatively, it could just be down to a comfort thing for Panda, but Panda could certainly play an Ash, and I agree with you with the extra explosive utility. That could definitely benefit them, again, removing utility, even clearing that wall, but I think they like to have the concussions there if they do need to push someone as a duo.
Unfortunately, we're highlighting what operator selection Panda can use. They're going to find themselves as the opening casualty once again for Endpoint, and Izzy is going to join suit relatively soon. So primary hard breacher off the board. Case is surrendered over towards the south, and this is going to create a brand new task for Endpoint. They're not only going to have to be successful on executes just like that, but they're going to have to retrieve that diffuser and might be stuck almost in this no man's land if a Selma charge has gone off. More gunfights going not in favor of Endpoint. Now they're going to have to try to pull a miracle. 2v4 sub 60 seconds is difficult to do.
Yeah, certainly. And again, it's they're going to have to really rely on this drone utility now, but there's some aggression coming through from Spice Girls. Bless me. Caught me a little bit off guard there. Yeah, drone utility coming through from Spice Girls. They're really going to have to try and get that intel where they can, because ultimately, 2v4, you certainly need to know where the rest of these defenders are if you have a chance of winning.
Zero Gates gets reactive. Sunjae forced a challenge, but now on below 15 HP. This is a difficult gunfight to go. Barber's on the other side of the map, creating a 90-degree crossfire. No real coordination right now from Endpoint. This is a go hour for them. They just have to swing on through. Ayala will fall, and that's a step in the right direction. There's one off the board, a 1v3, attempting to put the diffuser down, but Pandy will stop that dead in the tracks. It seems like Pepper was grinded up throughout that round as Spice Girls will find themselves victory in the dorms.
Is that why I sneezed?
Absolutely.
I see. No, very strong defense there, getting that opening pick once again onto Panda and following it up by taking the ace off the board, the also important ace, especially if you're attacking the upstairs. You really do. Again, I wanted to see the second dimension come through, and they're absolutely doing it. They're not just relying on the one push through perhaps bedroom or just one push through attic. We're seeing both of those pushes come into play here. And once you remove one of those approaches by taking away the hard breach, it certainly becomes a lot more difficult for Endpoint, because then Spice Girls can just focus their attention on one point of entry, essentially. So very, very well played there.
Basement now being selected by Spice Girls. Pretty standard, and Wamai off the board. That means Jaeger is going to really have to step up to the plate. He's also another operator that, more or less recently, has been changed. I don't want to call him nerfed or buffed. He just finds himself, different. Because if we see teams not necessarily coordinate their execute, where they're saying, all right, flashbangs, fragmentation grenade, maybe an explosive device, and those ADSs reactivate, the attack is going to find themselves dead in the water, and they're going to have to replicate what they did. At a time, we saw 9 flashbangs in the true heart of Utility Consumption Simulator. It was imperative that you brought out 9 flashbangs. If you didn't, simply, you weren't going to win the round. Now, in this kind of hybridization era where, it's partly information denial, partly Utility Consumption Simulator, Grandiose Roam, if you want to include that too, you're not going to have access to that many flashbangs. And currently on the side of Endpoint, you only have one set of flashbangs that's going to be on your Nomad for one set total. So when you go for your J-Bunker execute, it's imperative that those flashbangs find their target, and it's critical that whatever explosive device the IGL of Endpoint says needs to be sent down range finds its target soon.
Another thing to add to that is obviously Lua is there on the Capitao, so ultimately if the elbow of blue is held by just in a firebolt and remove that smoke from that corner and then just push. I wouldn't say, well, it would be aggressive, but speaking of aggressive, Pandy's also going to take down Panda. Can't she find the head of Lua as well? They need to clear her from the top of this tower. But yeah, ideally Lua not dying here would be great. There we go. Lua has survived, so that utility can be utilized wherever they want towards the back end of this site. And again, that's going to be pivotal at moving people out of specific situations. And it looks like they're heading down the tower stairs, and even those firebolts can be utilized to get rid of someone who is behind the pillar. Obviously, it's a very, very comfortable spot for people to have. You can sometimes plonk a shield there. We didn't quite get a chance to see where those Goyle shields were. Is there one by pillar? No, there's not actually, I don't think.
Well, with topside control now in favor of Endpoint, they can start to remodel the map any way they want. A lot of rosters are going to elect to breaching charge the walls into kitchen as well as into security, just to have this nice highway so the attackers can move and execute on those hatches. It seems like there actually might be one fish that has slept through the nets, as Spice Girls have somebody roaming upstairs over by the dormitory side of the map. Now, that player won't actually find impact yet in this round. They're going to have to work their way down a stairwell unless they elect to open up that meeting room hatch. That will be like just opening a can of worms wide. Endpoint, their mini games will change instantaneously. And speak about changing mini games. First round of Toxic Gas will go down range, starting to slow down Endpoint, pushing into J.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting seeing how they chose to approach this, and I understand getting meeting control. Sunji is going to take down Histia, and again, they really are struggling at clearing this elbow point, but it's going to give time for the Smoke of Maya to rotate back and actually reinforce that upset. That is, blue control can now be taken, but there's only 40 seconds to try and go for an execute.
Nitro still down rain. Lua is off the board, 3v3. We're going to have to see these rosters just push in this execute. What they need to do is stick their feet up on their desks, sit back and relax and wait for Endpoint to push through these fatal funnels. On the door frame is going to be Lizzie. There's a Mossberg shotgun ready to greet. The auto will find one, and now it's all on the flank watch, unable to do anything. Spice Girls will go 2 rounds in a row. Another strong execute for them, just holding the fort down as long as possible.
Absolutely. Again, I am curious as to why they didn't consider sending the Capitao utility towards blue and elbow. The Wamai is off the board. Like, you can use that to your advantage. The ADSs aren't going to do anything against those firebolts, so you might as well push them back. And granted, there is the aggressive long line of sight all the way through electrical and into pillars, and a defender could be lurking around there, but I still think it's worth just giving it a cheeky drone out and seeing what you can do with it, really. Again, we'll be curious to see when we go to that site again if they choose to adapt to it in any way like that. But we are going to go to kitchen dining, and this is interesting because I absolutely hate absolutely despise it. I think I'd much rather teams go to kitchen meeting. I think it's way safer to defend. Way
Oh,
safer.
Grace,
There's
I
so
don't know if we
much-
can be friends anymore.
No, there's so much control that needs to be taken by the attackers if you take it to that site. Way more control. You're basically handing over small tower for free here. There's no congestion to get that wall open into dining, and then all you have to do is force them back to a point where perhaps they can't quite land to their throwables, or there's no utility there to deny the plan, or there's no one willing to get aggressive enough. You take shower corridor, jobs are good, and it's literally the easiest site to take as an attacker.
Now,
If destroyed, still true.
I
Fight
want
me.
to step back because I would have bet $1 million that I saw them elect to go to kitchen dining, the system bomb site, because I saw them show that, right? Like, I'm not losing my mind, right? They did attempt it, and then they're like, nope, we're going to go over dining. Because if that's the case, I have to take back what I said, because at least in North America, you know, kitchen has the higher pick rate and also has a higher win rate. I mean, at a time in North America, the best bomb site across the entire map was all 7 maps was kitchen meeting. Now that was at the start of Oregon and technically at the start of stage 1 of the previous stage 1, so a full season ago. But
Yeah, 'cause
things have
it's
changed, and I know in
legit, though.
in Europe you guys tend to like this bomb site better, which I just can't
But
understand.
why? No, it's ridiculous. You are handing away so much control. Look at this already. Panda opening the floor. No one's contesting it. Pandy has taken down Barbara, so that's a good start for them. Again, the shower corridor. I think this is the main worry then for the attackers. But the wall's going to get opened within seconds, and it's just such a. I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of like fighting someone, but you open your shirt.
Yeah. I mean, for me, this bomb site, why it had such a high win rate, you know, in Europe at the time was the fact that it was, again, utility consumption simulator days that we keep seeming to bring up. And the defense was just bringing out so many impact grenades that the attackers just couldn't have any successful hard breach. Not sure what just happened there by Jaeger, decided to vault out towards White. Unfortunately, they find themselves being embraced by a hug by members of ENDPOINT. Now off the board, ENDPOINT actually had the opening duel against them. They were at the women disadvantage or the man disadvantage, and now they're going to find themselves at the +1 advantage mark, setting themselves up for the halfway mark of the execute.
This isn't even it. You know, Maya's all the way upstairs and has been for a majority of the round because, of course, you can hold kitchen really safely from up there. And she has actually dropped down the hatch there as well. But it just feels a bit like... Oh, I was going to say wasted, but Maya is actually going to take down Sunja. And actually, the plant is going down as predicted. If a plant goes down every single time with this site, like, again, there's 0 map control required to do that. It is in a bit of an atypical spot, however. But this is going to be very difficult for the Spice Girls to try and contest with, but Izzy is ready and waiting patiently here, and there we have it. I'm not even gonna say, ooh, wow, ooh, because I just hate that site so much.
So
If you take them to meeting kitchen, they and you can open up the hatch of attic. You have so much destructibility there. You can hold it there. You can have reinforcements up there, and 9 times out of 10 they'll try and go for the rear stage push. You just basically hold it till the cows come home. Even if they open that wall up, if they haven't dealt with the people upstairs, that execute is not happening. Not happening at all. And if it does, then shame on the defense. But absolutely, please, can people stop playing that site? Like, I have had enough. I am going on strike. Like...
Grace and Chief, no more dining. Now, I will say, I think I gave you that transition at like 90 seconds left from the clock, and I look up and I see the bomb starting to be planted. I'm like, oh. Alluding to you, Grace, you know, dining room can turn into this no man's land where the defense, if they're not bringing enough utility, we talked about the defense wasting time through impact grenades, destroying attacker utility. Not a strategy that Spice Girls elected to bring out. So if you aren't doing that, you have to expand upstairs into, you know, small or mini dorms where the bomb chassis currently is. We saw a little bit about Spice Girls, but really the adaptation that they needed is go for, you know, a Nitro Cell Bonanza, a call center from hell, where you're bringing so much throwable utility that it is truly converting that A bomb site into no man's land. The offense, sure, they might technically have control since they have better weapons. You know, they have the positional advantage over in small, but they're not going to
10 seconds
dare push in through dining if it's an artillery barrage of
5
explosive
seconds to
devices.
go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Attackers' objective is to locate a bomb and defuse.
And again, this is what I was slightly concerned about. It's a very even half so far. Will we end on 3-3 again, and then ultimately Endpoint slipping onto the fence? There is still a bit of a favour towards the defence, so it could be, as I like to say, a little bit risky biscuits for Spice Girls, but I mean, ultimately I am hoping that they can hold their own here. I think they've put on a hell of a show, especially since the last map. Obviously, the first map being a bit disappointing for them, but again, to play this well against a team that have been together for significantly longer, that is really, really good going from the side of Spice Girls.
So is a risky biscuit one that you just put so much butter on that, like, when you, like, sandwich them back together, it just,
Who
like,
puts
squirts
butter on biscuits? Hello?
I thought you put butter on biscuits. Wait, hold on. In Europe, don't you call biscuits cookies? Or what we call cookies?
You call biscuits cookies, yeah.
Or I thought you call biscuits cookies.
No, no, I think a biscuit in America is like a dumpling, isn't it, or something?
No, it's like a little piece of bread. So it's like a... Well,
like a
I
bun.
guess. Like a type of bun, yeah. Like, it's not a bun like you would put necessarily a sandwich bun, or like, you know, like what I had for like lunch, but like it's just like a vehicle for like jellies and butters and or claymores if you're vaulting out windows.
Certainly. And again, this is where it's interesting that Spice Girls are choosing to get aggressive, because that's the second time a run out has been shut down like that. Well, not specifically exactly like that, but it's certainly shut down.
We did see that Valkyrie camera get thrown all the way out towards the south. I'm assuming it was providing information, but unfortunately, it never actually grabbed the information of that Claymore. It's going to put the defense at a disadvantage. Panty's going to find herself in a wall of bullets, being shot from so many different directions, vibrating in place, now being addressed. 5v2 offense advantage currently for Endpoint, dropping down into South Pit. Una off the board. Now it's going to be on smoke. Able to do so. Now smoke grenades temporarily disabled, down but not out, and a vault on through, ill-advised and being dropped by Barbara. An aggressive play in the 1v5 didn't quite provide the dividends, and it seems like it's now 2 in a row for Endpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if Endpoint get one more attacking round in the bag, Spice Girls have to put in absolute work to make their attack work in their favor. And I don't want this to be another 7-2, so I really hope Spice Girls can hold out this last defensive round, and then when they go onto their attack, I hope they can actually get some rounds in on attack. I have faith. I reckon they can. Again, I want this to be another close one, to be honest, because I do think that obviously Chalet was incredibly strong for Endpoint, and it was very, very obvious how well versed they were with that map. It was so fluid, so comfortable. But I just really hope, you know, the momentum is now. And I hope we do go to. I hope we go all the way. I really do, and I think that
Defenders,
realistically,
being defused by attackers.
I don't think either team should be disappointed with their performance this evening.
One thing I'm concerned for about Spice Girls is it seems like they're giving far too much map control away to Endpoint, even in their last basement showing, right? We saw that extension upstairs into T3. It got a kill, it wasted 60 seconds. Beyond that, Spice Girls really aren't creating a strategy where it's absorbing time. I refer to it as a staged roam, where you make sure your bomb site is broken down into stages or steps that the attackers need to do. So example, if you're in basement, you want to go for a pure basement defense, fine. But what that means is you need to have defenders expanding to the 2 south stairwells, snipe away a drone, retreat to the bottom part of the stairwell, snipe another drone, and then return to the actual stage in which you want to play, the actual area in which you're playing. That way, 40% of the attacker drone economy has been lost. It's also going to absorb time. And in theory, they've lost 40% of that drone economy for what? Maybe 3 square meters? I mean, that is incredibly inefficient droning. But That's on Spice Girls, the primary shot caller, to, you know, create a strategy like that on the fly, just to make sure Endpoint has so many little puzzles that they have to deal throughout round 6, that when it comes to the actual execute itself, there's going to be so little time, it's going to be like pushing with your hair on fire and just sending it on through.
Yeah, definitely, and I think, you know, it's interesting here to see the Habana get brought along with the Ace as well, so they're choosing to take a double hard breach again, but it's a more focused hard breach. So they definitely guessed that they were going to go downstairs. Again, though, the one thing I am worried about is the amount of utility that can be used against blue, because, I mean, yeah, there's flashes on the Nomad, and that can clear a little bit of it, but they kind of struggled with that a little bit last time. So it would be good to see them actually properly. I mean, there's 3 of them there this time as well instead of 2, so there's certainly more utility being taken to the table. So perhaps this will be a lot more coherent for them.
Goyo shields are still rampant throughout the basement bomb site for Spice Girls. It's going to be fixed Apex positions for them. Couple that with ADSs and 1-taps from a 416. It can become quite difficult for Endpoint to start to address these power positions of Spice Girls. And beyond Panda, pushing down this north stairwell, barbed wire in their way, as well as solo basement wall. Unreinforced. This means an enterprising player of Spice Girls can elect to get aggressive and shut down Panda on their extension and walking on down. Now with 60 seconds left in this round, it's going to be on Endpoint. Start to expedite their clear. Perfectly needed by Panda. Barb is going to attack onto the board as well. The extension from Spice Girls starting to degrade one by one. Smoke is in a dangerous position. Switching over to the hospital. Pandy's going to find one, and that's going to allow her the reinforcements.
Certainly, but you know, Shanice here with the Elder. It is like a hot knife through butter. Maya's going to get a little cheeky SMG-11 action, taking down Barbara there. Again, pulling this down to a 3v3, so it's good work there by the defense, evening it out a little bit, because they know this execute's going to start coming through. They know that pressure's going to start getting applied. They know that they have to really be mindful of their positionings here. Again, that wall has not been reinforced back up, it would appear. And there we go, Sunja's going to take down Maya because of that.
5 seconds remaining.
Freezer control. You mentioned the Alda going for. Will it do exactly that? Finding one in the coverage. Diffuser down on the ground. Panty against 2. Spotting the head of the planter. Now equalized. 1v1. Panty still has to find that target. Pushing deeper away from that bomb chassis. Maybe an audio cue over by that pillar. Shots exchanged. They know exactly where they are, but you have to get this kill. Time is of the essence right now for Pandy. You have to move now. Recoil, Panda off the board, now confirmed, and there we go. Spice Girls will equalize into round 6, tying themselves up at the half. An incredible mechanical skill there for Pandy.
Oh my god, yeah, the clutch. The clutch coming through. That's what we like to see. Ending this on a 3-3 split. I think it really would have been a shame if they lost there. But really, really well played by Endpoint there. Solid execute. It was just the post plant needed a little bit more comfort, I feel. Again, Panda initially having the right reaction when it came to the 1v1 and she was trying to almost pull back. We've seen the Endpoint do this a lot and they're super good at knowing when to do that. You can just pull back and play it safe, but ultimately, leaving a little bit of her back exposed, and that allowed Pandy to snuffle up that kill and clutch it out. So really well played by both teams. And again, I'm happy that it ended on a split like that, and I do hope this continues on an even split. I don't want to really see Spice Girls falter now on their attack. At the same time, I am concerned that Endpoint are going to bring a very, very solid defense now and just, have this utility setup that's relatively standard, but their positioning and the angles that they're just going to so patiently hold, could be another story.
Well, it seems right now like we might be locked and loaded for another round 15 overtime, and honestly, Grace, I'd be beyond excited to see that, because who doesn't want to see a semifinal match go the entire distance? I mean, map number 2 was phenomenal. I mean, we were on our toes the entire time, and so far, map 3, at least at the half, our heels are going to get very tired. Our calves are going to get tired from standing on our toes for so long. But, traditionally, Oregon has been defender sided. The defense, when they set the pace of the round, they tend to win. And that's actually one thing that we need to highlight going back to Endpoint's attack. Just about, I would say, 4 out of these, 6 rounds that we saw, or I guess since there were 6 rounds that was played, 4 of those rounds, Endpoint truly took control of the map early on, and they dictated the pace. What that means is Spice Girls was always reacting to the pace of the attackers. Instead of having, a Spice Girls defending macro strategy be the dominant strategy, it was really the offensive strategy that was always, manipulating the defense into positions that they weren't comfortable. Now, fortunately, players like Pandy were able to, stop that dead in their tracks based off on their ability to click heads, but that's a strategy that isn't going to be consistent.
I mean, absolutely. And, already there's a little bit of a push coming through here from the southern side. A slightly, I wouldn't say concerned, but there doesn't appear to be a second dimension coming through just quite yet. At least not a solid, a solid one. Perhaps we will see a little bit. What you do like to see sometimes is teams will kind of push from the small tower area and they'll clear kind of kitchen and dining just to make sure there's nobody on the roam looking to sneak up on them at late rounds from Armory Stairs. But we're not quite seeing that either. And I think Endpoint are actually reacting to the fact that this push only seems to be coming from one side right now.
Second round as Selmas go off. It seems to fully detonate as the impact grenade just didn't quite find their target. A third round as Selmas now go off, but only going to land on the vertical pillar of that wall. And it seems like whatever transpired over here, it's a bad painting that has been created because not all of that reinforced wall has been removed, which means an insertion point over to South Games is no longer viable unless you do a slithering snake style of play, and Spice Girls are going to crawl on their belly, leaving that position. I mean, that's just incredibly dangerous, not only because it makes a large audio cue, you're not going to have the ability to dodge and weave around the bullets. Also, you won't be able to stand up and retake on the gunfights. Izzy playing hyper-aggressive over to South Pit will be felled for free, refragged by a Mossberg shotgun, and Maya just still wants to push on forward. Hand on another one. The push in North Attic is going to be so critical. Maya's going to have to continue on this spearhead. Both these rosters now equalizing into the main execution phase.
Absolutely, but Panda on the tiniest sliver of health really has to mind her positioning. And Pandy's going to take down Barbara, so it's Lua plus a very weakened Panda. And as I say it, there we go. Maya taking her down. It's all left down to Lua on the Goyo. Unfortunately close, but no cigar. Found one of them, but got taken down by the other.
What an incredible round by Spice Girls. I mean, even the fact that they were unable to open up, that South Games wall, it didn't affect their execute one bit because they're applying pressure from so many different positions. You had Big Window, you had White Stairs, you did technically have South Games, but they couldn't walk through that position. You had Trophy, as well as 2 of their players pushing in from Trophy side. And you can see the gun barrels of Endpoint reacting to every single one of those scenarios. 1 second, they're taking gunfight to South Pit. The next second, they're challenging top of White Stairs. And they never really had, the map control to be able to have a strategy where they're like, all right, the attackers have these positions. Let's just now sit back, use the fatal funnels, use the door frames of the map as an asset, and force those attackers on in. Unfortunately, Endpoint, they sprung in action, they took gunfights, and they ended up losing just about every one of those gunfights. A valiant effort by Endpoint. We were concerned that Spice Girls was going to start to stall out on an attack, but if they're able to replicate that attack like they did in the dorms into the basement site, they are in here for the long haul.
Oh, absolutely. And we even saw them kind of almost use Endpoint set up to their advantage. You had that massive... I wouldn't say it was a full rotation because there's a standard rotation between Attic and Kids, but there were certainly soft walls left that they were able to just kind of pre-fire through, knowing that the players of Endpoint had their backs turned at the time. So and again, I guess it's that idea of the wall was opened in 2 games, and so they assumed the push was coming there. And at that point, Attic was left completely unguarded, and someone was able to slip into Attic and make their way through. And again, they just were not. They were not given any retaliation to that.
It seems like we've gone back in time It's a different style of playing downstairs in the basement. It's the OG way of holding the sign, paying homage to the original iteration of Oregon. The only way to really hold basement at the time was to expand the bomb sign as much as possible. You put rotations upstairs, you hold meeting room and endpoint, making tons of rotations on that second floor and that first floor. Not quite sure if the hatches themselves are opened up, but this is going to give endpoint the fluid motion throughout this map. They're always going to be able to challenge every member of Spice Girls as they apply pressure, not only if it's just a J bunker execute, where the majority of Spice Girls is currently set up, but if they relocate over to the north side of the map towards North Tower, they're going to find themselves the potential of endpoint members coming from behind.
Yeah, definitely. And they will be here. This is how endpoint should have utilized the Kappa Tower against the elbow hold. You know, Spice Girls just did that really, really well. A flurry of kills coming down though, and it's all left down to Pandy now. How did this happen? Hello?
Snap your fingers, and the entire lobby of Spice Girls just instantaneously off the board. It seems like Barbara there did not want any map control to be, you know, accrued by the offense, and she just swung in from blue tarps. I believe she got a 3K. I mean, the kill feed was just a sea of blue. Endpoint members just absolutely slaughtering Spice Girls. That's the problem with a linear execute. When you put your entire roster in through J bunker, pushing out through the actual like extended bunkers over by barrels, I mean, it's a fatal funnel. If the defense sets themselves up correctly, there could be 3 gun barrels trained on that position, excluding smoke grenades and a nitro cells. Once you start to couple in utility, that fatal funnel becomes practically impossible to push. That's why I spent so long talking about that rotations upstairs, because I assumed Spice Girls would make a rotation to North Attic, starting to apply pressure to the North Stairwell, which means Barbara playing over by the blue tarps, she won't be comfortable in that position, or if she stays in that position, she's playing there to die. She won't be able to rotate away. Since none of those criteria were well set up for Spice Girls, they ended up kind of, you know, throwing away the round in a silly fashion. You were mentioning, Grace, how they did such a wonderful job of rotating, applying pressures from different sides of the bomb site into round 7. They just need to replicate that into round 8.
Well, that's it, isn't it, really? And again, Spice Girls using that utility really, really well, only to kind of just all line up for Izzy. Bit of a shame, really. Bit of a shame. I mean, again, it's super interesting because there's nothing. It's kind of what I was saying earlier, with the EU teams, you see probably less kind of creativity and like they're using it in this way in XYZ. It's more down to their positioning and how passive or aggressive they're being. Every single time. And I think endpoint are just so good at timing when they're going to be aggressive and when they're just going to pull back. Like, they are just so good at that, and I think that is a really big skill that a lot of people lack, to be honest. And you know, I even see teams in the UK Nationals Division 2 where they just don't even, they'll just get way too aggressive when they don't need to. And I think this is the interesting thing too. I'd really like to see a lot of these rosters actually compete and go into some nationals quals after this. I think it'd be quite interesting to see how everyone does, because I certainly think some people have the gusto for it.
Yeah, the bane of Rainbow Six Siege players is the ego peak or the overextension, just playing hyper aggressive. Now, Spice Girls has multiple tasks that they need to start to address sooner rather than later. Unable to open up the north side of Attic. Now, if they want that control, it's going to be on Zofia, sending one of her launcher bullets downrange, the impacts into the bottom part of that wall, and that way you remove that mute jammer. But another scenario is the fact that there is nitrocell denial from underneath. Valkyrie is currently lurking over the meeting side of the map. They have yet to be addressed, and there is no flank drones over in meeting for Spice Girls. So that might be a huge, grandiose flank that can come from behind. But hopefully Spice Girls has established other recon beacons, other drones throughout the map to identify if anything odd is taking place on a flank.
There's a really good example as well of the patience that endpoint can show sometimes. Lua getting tagged up a little bit, and instead of just staying there or trying to contest it, she just pulls back safely to kids and it's like, no, okay, fine, I'll let you come to me. I don't need to do anything. I can just stay here and hold an angle. I can destroy my toxic babes. It's fair enough, to be honest. It's fair enough. Interesting to see Maya actually rotate, considering that wall is open. Perhaps she doesn't want to contest it just alone. She does have utility in pocket if she wants to use it, though, to clear the attic way.
Panda is going to be playing over by the yellow rotate. They don't have a grip whatsoever, so that's going to be interesting to see how it transpires. Spice Grill is going to make their own interesting line of attack. Finding 2 off the board, now getting refrag, allowing control into the default plan. With more casualties balancing for endpoint, they're going to have to start to spring into action. No utility to be seen. Luna was going to be the smoke grenade dial, now off the board. A Z against 3, being pressured in from North Panic, and the pressure comes swiftly. Spice Grills, another strong execute here into the dorm site. It's been 2 attempts made by endpoint, and so far they've been unable to win dorms once.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting to me that that's happening when they have... I think the thing is here that's quite interesting is that they perhaps are getting distracted and think that a one-dimensional push is happening. It's the same as last time they went to that site. They were like, oh, they're only attacking us from... through that wall on games. They're not coming anywhere else. And the same thing kind of happened where there was additional pressure being applied from attic, and then eventually the person, at least this time, they did not leave attic. They did not, get distracted by what was going on around the game's area. They actually stayed in attic, but then, kind of just getting a little bit caught off guard, and it was a bit of a well, I wouldn't even say it like a showdown. It was just more of a standoff, to be honest. And then ultimately, in the end, that was the last operator to fall. But I am curious to see if they start to maybe stick in duos a bit more. Would be quite interesting. But again, it's yeah, that's good for the refrag, but you're not covering as many angles if you do that.
Bad news, Grace.
I'm not even going to mention it. I'm not even gonna mention it. Like, I just want to put my head in a big bucket of cold water and cry. Like, okay. Especially, this is the thing as well. A team like Endpoint absolutely should go to Meeting Kitchen, because again, they have the patience to know when to fall back, when to be passive, and to an attic hold right now on Kitchen Meeting would be perfect for them. And I'm mad, and I'm just gonna see how this plays out, to be honest.
Well, if you want to make sure your casters are happy here in CCSW, make sure you go to Meeting Room as your tertiary bomb site instead of Dining as your tertiary bomb site, because
there's just so much more you can do.
I agree. I mean, honestly, the attack through the north side of the map, which so many teams in amateur play just wants to do, is one of the most aggravating attacks that I see. At least on the Meeting Room bomb site. Honestly, I actually prefer executing Meeting Room in the kitchen as my primary attack, or a 2-pronged assault from Small Tower, because that way you apply so much pressure, and even that extension upstairs into mini dorms address the multi-pronged push. That is assuming that you do it right and you have good control with the drones. Again, it requires an IGL to be on top of things, but at this level of Siege, I expect every IGL to be, dotting their I's, crossing their T's, logging in the utility that not only their roster has, the defense has, as well as the positionings of all 10 players.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. Again, we are seeing the utility get a spot out there. They are aware of these yokai drones roaming around, and I think that, well, if they're ready and waiting for it, I would be surprised if they're still having to deal with it by the end of the round. I reckon they are going to take that out relatively quickly, and again, that's the plant denial off the board if they do. Well, I say some plant denial. There's still a C4 on the board, which I'm surprised hasn't been used already, considering, the kind of approaches that are being taken here by the attackers, but there's also a bit of a clear underneath as well. Considering the fact that they have gone to kitchen dining, it is phenomenal to me that they are clearing top like this.
And absorbing so much of that clock.
Yeah, and mostly like focusing their attack around here.
Oh, Panda says hello. Pandy off the board. An incredible Q swing by that individual. With Barba now being refragged. A lot of pressure from Spice Girls still upstairs. Endpoint will have the roamers. Panda's gonna find a second kill. Diffuser temporarily surrendered. And look at all this map control that Spice Girls fought for. For what? It's a second floor execute for them, trying to convert it into middle floor control. Izzy now refragged, but still, Spice Girls aren't necessarily in the driving seat. They're going to have to start to drop through the hatches or flood down the stairwell. Endpoint is fully prepared for this position. The drop comes through. Panda's going to start to line them up. A tad bit of a delay, and Panda dishes out some pain and suffering. Luna's going to find one, but where is Spice Girls? They need to start finding the kill board, and now they have done exactly that. It's being converted almost into that post plant. Diffuser's almost down. It's going to be exactly that. And Spice Girls will be able to take round 10. Phenomenal drop from them. It seemed like there was no hope in this round. The hatch was covered, and yet they full sent it, planted the bomb, and won. That's match point in the series for them. Series point in the series for them.
Yeah, and you know, like, I'm not even obviously biased because I hate the site. But, like, that shouldn't have gone the way it did. They wasted so much time upstairs when they literally didn't have to. All you have to do is have someone hold shower corridor, open the bloody wall into dining, send some utility in, get the plant down. It's literally that simple. Like, mad. So mad. But, you know, they ultimately won that round out. Endpoint, not really sure what was going on there, as you say. They just all came down the hatch, and I think it was a little bit of a surprise. And they just weren't able to just quite land their shots, and then no intel to know where the plant was actually going down. If only they knew, they could have, you know, flanked the other way around the kitchen counter and actually maybe prevented the plant. And that would have been the round going in Endpoint's favour. So, what a bizarre round, truly.
Beyond gnarly. And now, what does this mean for Endpoint? Their tertiary bomb site did not work. They're going to be attempting to go downstairs into the basement. The only bomb site that they've been able to win on their defending hold. So at least that's the silver lining entering into round 11. But is this the penultimate round? Or is this the final round? Because if Endpoint wants to be the roster that moves into the upper bracket grand final, they have to, well, replicate what they did on Consulate. They have to take us into overtime, and then they have to be able to win round 15, which they ended up letting slip away through their fingertips. Spice Girls had a phenomenal showing in round 15. We know what they're capable of in overtime, so that's going to be a strength that they have. But also important to notice, one of the worst attacks for Spice Girls was the fact that they just 4 rostered stacked over by the east side of the map, and then they all just instantaneously got evaporated.
Absolutely. And, you know, already we're not really seeing much pressure come from anywhere, not much entry. I think they're really relying on taking their time now. They are on match points, so they can be a little bit more smooth and chill with it. They are just going to drone it out and make sure they're clearing everything. Actually, we're seeing a frontal push come through. We didn't quite catch that, but now we are. Pandy pushing this frontal laundry side, and again, they have so much control here. It's just whether or not they can hold on to it, because there are roamers of Endpoint lurking in the distance, and Barbara already downed, and I heard your shock alert, and that could have been pretty nasty.
That was not good. No ADSs to be seen in the south side of the bomb site. Why? Because they're all situated over towards the east side of the map to help that J bunker hold. Endpoint has realized that's now emphasis of the south side of the map, so all the deployable shields that they're facing towards the northeast side of the map has been maneuvered, and now it's going to allow the defense a little bit better positioning. They're going to be able to hold that more comfortably. But as firebolts start to go around, starting to force Endpoint away from their held positions, it might actually be Spice Girls gearing up for an execute as the drones start to confirm exactly where the defense is playing.
Absolutely, and yeah, this intel utility getting used on both sides, and we're gonna see a second dimension to this push come through to catch people off guard. You know, Endpoint have moved some of that utility, but it doesn't seem to be doing much. The BM of hammering Lua to death as Pandy takes out a sledgehammer, and oh my goodness gracious me, that is Spice Girls winning this best of 3. Wow.
Wow. Grace, I'm lost words. That was exactly what I wanted. I mean, we were